Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another CAF update, 139th episode. I hope everybody's enjoying themselves this evening. I've had a very busy day, but I got a lot done, fortunately. So that's a good thing. And I can say we've got an action-packed show tonight. Plenty of things that you haven't seen in a while. Weekly Flip, which has been bestowed upon us by Fish, as well as some surprise guests that I've got on early and in the middle of the show. So lots of things to do here today. So I don't want to, leave the team that's in the green room waiting any longer. Sean, you look like I'm going to get Sean in here, and Alex and Todd. Todd, we've never had you on the show before, so welcome.
Yeah, long-time listener, first-time caller.
Well, where's the bell for me to ring? I don't think we don't have a bell for that, do we? Let me see. Is there any? I'll ring the cash register for you. Okay, there we go. Well, welcome to the show. Oh, wait, it's got to stop that. It's set to loop. I didn't realize that. And Sean, man, you're like in the green room, man. You are still in the green room there. You need a brighter, whiter light, man.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of light in this room on purpose, so it works against me when it's podcast time. I apologize.
That's all right.
You get like a glare off my head too, so enjoy that, everybody.
I am sure that the art is happier for it. It's in a better place like that. So hey, you guys had your auction ending last Wednesday, right?
Correct.
Yep. And how did that go?
Excellent. Did 2.5 million overall. And as the people who are familiar with Hakes know, we offer more than just art. So we had comic books and political and sports and action figures, and we were very pleased with the results across the board. Things did well. Bidders were actually up from our last premier auction of last year to this first premier auction of this year. So I was certainly pleased. How about you guys?
Yeah, I thought all the results were, at the top end of the spectrum or out of the spectrum for the most part. I mean, art just doesn't slow up. People, love it, and the fans come out for it. So.
Yeah, that's a good segue. Art doesn't slow up because as a collector, I've been watching for it to slow up, and luckily it has not all that bad. It's not as aggressive as it was maybe a year ago at this time or 18 months ago, but it's still holding strong, which is great to see across the board. It was pretty solid all the way around.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen any slowdowns here either. So, I mean, I'd say in general, that's the way things are. Seems like everybody's doing well still, and that's positive. And con season starting. This is like a big weekend. You got MegaCon this weekend and C2E2 on the exact same weekend. So there's a lot of activity, in our area, as far as original comic art goes. You got a lot of art dealers out on both of those shows, a lot of artists. So there's a lot of people clamoring for everybody's attention now, all the way now through Thanksgiving, right? So it's a fun time for us as collectors, but challenging for you guys too, because you gotta get out there. Do you guys get out to a lot of shows at this time of year?
Not as many as we would like. We certainly have expanded that. We have San Diego coming up, which will be our second year where we've had our own booth. We were splitting space with Diamond Comics, our parent company, and last year we did New York Comic Con. We'll do that again. We have Little Giant coming up, and then some toy shows and things. I mean, that's sort of our balance is. We don't just sell comics. We have other shows. So we have political shows to do, and we have action figure shows to do. And so it's just finding the balance of who can do what show in and around the auction production schedule, which is a task upon itself. So
how, along with Kelly, then, I mean, how big is the staff that's going out there to the shows working?
So there's like 10 people that work out of the office, and we have another 10 road agents, Sean being one of them, freelancers or consultants or specialists, and sometimes they do shows as well. So again, they have a day job, right? We're trying to get some of those people to work for us full time. They're being stubborn about it, but maybe one day. I'm willing to pay for your electricity bill there, so we have more lighting next time too, Sean. So if that's any incentive, let's make that happen.
I got torches in the corner. I'm good, buddy.
But I do want to say, about our day-to-day staff. I know one request has been, where's all the eye candy from Hakes? And everyone is tired of looking at myself and Sean and Kelly. So that's why we have the James Bond of collectibles and Todd tonight.
I get it. Yeah. It's the glasses, Todd.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, definitely. And that crew cut, man.
Right.
And you got some decent stuff. You know, the cat clock on the wall behind you. I don't know. You know, my crazy cat aunt has one of those. Has that on? The
Yeah,
wall.
I have a
Like
little bit of
recent
everything in
memories.
my office. It's like a mini museum, toys and statues and you name it, vintage, new stuff. I kind of like everything. I don't have any art on the wall here. I have some prints and things like that. All my art's at home, you know, in portfolios and that kind of thing. So,
Or in your calf gallery. Let's not forget that.
yeah, I do have about 160 some in my calf gallery. So I've been working at that kind of a good bit lately, just trying to get everything in there. So
Awesome. I knew I've been in your calf gallery before, and Alex is working on his. He got recognized recently for having a popular piece of art added to his
Absolutely.
calf gallery.
Very, very cool. I get lots of great comments from people. I mean, that's fun. And I will be ready when we have mid-June as our interview show. And I will, by that point, my goal is to have everything up. So I'm getting there.
Now, I didn't see you in the Brereton sale the last Saturday, right? You were busy.
You talking to me?
I thought you were you mentioned Dan's stuff at some point to me, but
Yeah,
maybe not.
no, I was. I got somebody named Wayne kept getting every piece.
So you were
Wayne.
trying. You were trying.
No. I was trying on multiple ones. Yeah, no. I was in there.
You don't know who it was? You don't know who Wayne is? Just his first name?
I don't want to
No,
know who he is.
I've got a stack of art to deliver to Wayne tomorrow because he's actually down here at MegaCon and I'm going there on Friday. So yeah, he picked up a lot of good stuff at that one.
Yeah. I tried.
We need to put
how it
limits
goes.
on our sales maybe in the future. I don't know. Dan was very happy afterwards, though. Of course, he thought,
that's the most important thing. But yeah, there were a couple pieces that I would have been happy to add, but you know, life goes on, and I just won a piece in an auction yesterday, so there's always something to buy.
Exactly, and I can tell you, Dan was he was so happy afterwards. He was like, "We should do another show," because he was like, "I want to have other people get the art. You know, I want to be able to get more people out, you know, interested and stuff." And so we were originally going to do a show in the fall, but he seems like he might want to do something again in June or sooner if he can get work done. He's going to Lake Como. That's the only thing that might hold him back from making some more artwork. But yeah, it was all good.
And it's not like I don't have anything. I have 8 pieces of his that I bought in early 2000s because I connected with him. He was one of the first people I started buying art from off of eBay. And then he did commission work for me over about a year, and I have 8 things. So I'm happy to have those.
It's eight more than I have right now because I've only ever had like 2 pieces and I sold them both a while back, but oh well. Well, I'm glad you were trying because a lot of people were trying at those. So why don't we talk about the some pieces from last week's auction? And I know you've kind of set 10 of them, 10 pieces of art and 3 pieces that were not original art to talk about tonight. And let's see. So the first piece was The Brave and the Bold cover by Ross Andrew. We'll highlight that one here. So that one had 17 bids, ended at $14,162. Above estimate.
You know, I'm curious on this piece, so I'm curious what the comments will think as well. Was this piece driven by Batman's presence or by the Legion's presence? Which is it? Combination of both is the obvious answer, but which do you think was stronger?
I think it's just a cover in general.
Yeah, I mean that's always, especially for that prime era right now that's peaking with that bronze era. But I don't know. I always look at this and because I wasn't a collector of Legion, so I don't follow that market, but I know that it's got a very aggressive collector following to it. So I was anticipating it would go pretty well. I didn't know what to expect out of it though.
And this was one that we toyed with, as we always do, the openings beforehand. And there was thought of doing 10 to 20, but we never would like to get aggressive with the opening bids, and opening bids are all dictated on what the estimates are. So we went for 2, 5 to 10. So the fact that it went over 10 was not a surprise to us, period.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of Legion fans, like you're saying. I'd say that's a big part of it. Batman, I mean, you're always going to have that, but I think the Legion fans kind of push stuff along a lot because they are many. you know. But yeah, no, it was a great piece, and we previewed this one too, so you know, you knew it was going to do well. So I like it, and I think the price is pretty much right in line with where it should be. Consigner, I'm sure, is happy. And we looked at this one too. Gary Frank. I mean, I love Gary's work, so this one ended at just over 11,000. Yeah,
It's nice to see you again.
yeah. Gary's he was made to draw Superman, so this is a good one.
Well, as we talked about, you know, when we previewed this stuff, not a lot of his cover art out there. This is among the best. And, you know, another one, as we'll talk about some other Superman covers, that we weren't sure which one was going to be the biggest seller. They all had potential. So this one won out and just over estimate.
I love the contrast of it all.
Yeah, definitely. I like his stuff a lot. And I think he was just announced he's going to be at Lake Como in May. He's an artist I've never gotten the opportunity to meet, and I know he lives in Italy now, so a hard guy to actually get the opportunity to run into these days. Then let's see, what do we got next? We had this one ended at 8,464, and this is Action Comics 467 by Oxner. Large image here. There we go.
And this is the one that I mentioned of the 4 Superman covers going into, we thought might take the crown. Again, it was close. So you never know. And you know, what era or what artist is going to come out on top, but still a solid price for this one.
Era, artist, image. It's got all of it. It's cool.
Yeah, I like that. That stop it, Superman. You're wrecking the world. All you need is a dog falling out of that building or some kind of pet. And then it would feel a little bit more tragic.
Yeah, ramp up the emotional stakes. Good call, buddy.
Exactly. You can't have a pet get injured during one of these things. But no, it's a great image. And so it was this. Again, final bid on that one, almost 8,500.
Oh, congrats to Dino. He said he won this cover.
Oh, Dino!
Oh,
awesome, man. Dino has a good eye, as we all know. Whenever Dino posts an update on CAF, everybody checks it out because you just never know. You know what piece of art he's pulling out. So that's awesome, Tino. Congratulations.
Yeah, and thanks for the bids.
All right. Next. Oh, this was Sean. This is your sweet spot with color guides. This
I was in this
over
one,
8,000.
I was in this, and I was debating where I wanted to go. I picked a different one, and as soon as I picked a different one, I noticed that this bid jumped up, and I think it was coincidental, but I felt like in that moment someone else is they're doing the same pros and cons list for their wallet. So yes, as I said in the preview, it's very rare to see iconic stuff come to market and its complete story, and it's one of a kind. You know, you can argue the merits of color guides versus OA, obviously, but you know it is iconic, and it's the only one out there. So somebody can get this home, put it in a nice archival portfolio and read the entire book like the comic book, but they've got the only copy in existence, which is, to my mind, is pretty sweet.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we've seen you guys have had a few complete issues with the color guides, and they always do well. I think people that appreciate that. If you have a single page, it might not do very well, but put it together as a complete book, and I think that adds a certain extra level of value to color guides. I mean, because one-offs, you're just getting them kind of for the, I don't know. It's interesting. It's nice to have. It's cool, especially if maybe you own the original art.
Yeah, match it
the
up.
Color guide as well, and match them up. Yeah, but to be able to own the whole book, it almost doesn't matter if you have any pieces of OA to go along with it, because that now in and of itself it makes it a really nice collectible to have the whole issue.
Yep.
And it's all about how this stuff is marketed and cultivated. I mean, Sean's been doing a good job. In fact, Sean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but at another auction house, this might have brought half this amount.
Yeah, I mean, that hashed itself out basically. So Nick asked how much it went for. It went for around $8,000. If I
Just
recall
over
correctly.
8.
Yeah. So
Right. Yeah, no, very good.
that beats a recent comp of it.
Do you think you'll have more color guides in the upcoming auction?
Yeah.
Good.
Yes, we do. I'm excited to talk about them in the next one for sure.
Todd's excited to describe them.
Yeah, get them in the mail.
I'm sorry. No, actually, they're coming back from Kane County.
So do you do all the write ups, Todd?
I do my fair share. Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't play editor for every thing that comes through.
Not everything, but I enjoy it though. It's a little more free form than just describing a toy or whatever. You know, the art has a little more play in it to, describe. And I like it. So, it's great to see it. I know most of the classic artists, and to see the stuff, in person is great. So
awesome. So here we have a Superman cover, and what do we got? It's from issue 63, and I forget the artist now that I'm not on looking at it. Oh, Dan Jurgens, of course, yeah. Jurgens and Breeden.
This is my pick before the auction for my favorite Superman cover. I love the triangle era, the whole Death of era and around it. So it was cool to see this.
Let's see. Alex says he wishes Hakes would mail an OA catalog or pamphlet. I mean, I know you guys put out a catalog, but it's got your whole breadth of stuff.
We actually do both. I mean, we do a flyer that's kind of like the highlights of the entire auction.
Yeah.
And then the full-fledged catalog. There is not one that's just original art because, again, it's not our model. We're not set up, and we don't just do themed auctions for catalogs, with the exception that we did the Star Wars in the last couple of years. But for the most part, we have, and it has always, we've always had, this is what Hakes has always been. It's always been about all of these different types of categories, and we have collectors for everything. We have cross interest in everything. So just one quick story, which will show the diversity, is we had a guy who was for years strictly a political items collector, primarily pinback buttons. And out of the blue, he bid and won a Kirby Thor page. We had no clue there was ever any interest in that. And after I bought a few more pieces of art. So again, when we do this catalog, it's kind of mini sections within all the different categories that build up to one big auction.
Right. I guess Alex was saying the OA was buried in the big one. Well, it happens. I mean, I don't know how. Do you always kind of follow a same template?
Yep.
As far as like toys first.
Comic art always follows comic books. And if you can't find it in the catalog, you can go online, and it is broken down by type of item. So there's original art, and then original art for comic books, for syndicate. Right. So it's, if you want to seek it out, it's there.
Right. Well, and we do these preview shows as well, so that do our best. But yeah, no, that was a good one. So that one went for just under $8,000. All right. So this one was the one I know there was a lot of interest on. This one. This was that Topps card art, and it went for just over $7,000.
You know what? This piece, to me, it speaks to the benefit of bidding early, because it's stuck at 6K. So whoever bid on it, they won it, and I'm sure it was part of their strategy. So that was cool to see as well. And going back to the last, what we were talking about a little bit ago, we tend to get myopic about the things that we want to do and things we want to collect, but the auction is to benefit both the buyer and seller. In this case, the seller benefited from someone being aggressive in the beginning, and rightfully so. I think this, I think I said in the preview, this whole card set was super iconic. And I think, Alex, you said this was the best one we've had, most likely from a content standpoint.
Yeah, definitely with three major characters. We've had a few other good ones, but not with Batman, Robin, and a known villain. So yeah, and then they had the extra material. It had the original art for the Spanish card, and they had the prelim. So this is about as complete a package as you're going to get for any of these top cards.
Yeah, it was super
top cards again by Saunders, who did not only this and the Batman series, but the Mars Attacks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's a great piece, and something you just don't see too often. And Sean, I think there is definitely different approaches or psychologies to approaching how you bid on stuff, bidding early versus bidding later. And you never know. I mean, everybody, when you go into something as a buyer and a bidder, you a lot of people like to wait But I think in some ways you're right. If you bid early, you could kind of scare off a few people and let them maybe think they need to go look at something else because somebody else is going strong and is going to be in there for the long haul. And they probably were at the end of the day.
Yep. Well, exactly. Who knows where that guy would have stopped, but he put it right where it needed to be to make it difficult to overtake him, and that he remained in front.
Yeah, you never know.
So,
and Chris Nork wanted to know if they were in the Netherlands. I don't know, Chris. They could be at a miniature golf course.
I'm not going to lie.
So, but yeah, it's a beauty at just over $7,000 on that one. And then we had that other Action Comics cover. This one went for, where is it? Oh, there it's $57.11 by Ross Andrew. Let's get that image up here. Here we go. So this was we got Action 518. And we looked at this one too. It's a nice cover. Why would those aliens want? Yeah, why would the aliens want to steal it? Damn. But no, good piece, decent price on this one.
Yeah, I'm curious what the Faded Inks did to it overall, where it would have fallen had that never happened. Obviously, you don't have a lot to fix it.
I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is, right? There's only one, but I think it detracts a little bit from a piece. But again, it's the only one that's out there, so you take it for what it is. You look at a lot of those Starlin, Death of Captain Marvel pages. I mean, the whole book is practically fading, or to one degree or another per page. So you just have to roll with it. So a great image on this one, great cover. So
and thankfully. The bulk of it is India ink, so
it
will hold up now, in theory.
Let's see here. Oh yeah, I thought about bidding on this one, but I wouldn't have gone up to 45, 43.
It's so good.
I love this one.
Oh goodness,
this could have been made out to to Curly Joe, and I still would have bought it. It didn't matter. It could have had that dedication to somebody else, and I still would have said I want to own a piece because I mean it's Kirby, it's Odin. I mean, this is a great image. So whoever got this one, I'm sure is absolutely thrilled because I mean I've seen a fair number of Kirby Thor pieces, Odin pieces, a few Lokis, but I mean this has just been one of my favorite ones. It wasn't large, but still, I mean, that even says something. It wasn't one of his larger like 18 by 20 pieces. I think this was what was it, 9 by 12 ish, and still got it to $4,500. It speaks to the fact that it's really polished piece, and a lot of people knew it was going to do well.
Yeah, it's very complete, very clean. Detail is high. It looks like peak Kirby. It's awesome.
Yeah, nope, I'm jealous of that one, but and Dino just said it too. Kirby pencils only pieces are always impressive. Exactly. I mean, from almost any era, it doesn't matter. But yeah, this one, I mean, I love this one the moment I saw it. So congrats to the person who picked that one up. Yeah,
that's a win.
All right, and that's right. We had those Transformer artworks too. This is the Wheeljack piece. This one went for $42.48.
So yeah, in the previous show, we talked about the other piece, right? So this shows you how you don't know what's going to happen. So the other one we thought was better, a more popular character. That was one that we knew who the artist was, and instead of being attributed, but they flip-flopped. They both did well, but this one exceeded our expectations and the estimate. So again, the bidders sort of speak as to what they really want, and this was the one over the other.
You and Todd, how often do you see these? I'm not sure that, because as an OA fan, I'm a very casual toy art collector. I never see it. Some of the stuff that Giordano did for DC Toys popped up. I don't know if it was him. I think it was him selling it directly maybe 15 years ago. It just never hits the market. So does that contribute to this at all?
It's few and far between, especially color. I remember when Neil Adams was still doing his live show, he had quite a bit of art that he had done for Toy Biz or different action figures. But for a piece like this, and Wheeljack's a popular character, and what's weird is this isn't like the full, like a full box art. This is actually like the image kind of up in the corner of the box. But, you know, people love to display something like this with, you know, the box toy then. So, but yeah, this is hard stuff to find. Because a lot of times, you know, probably didn't make it through the process, you know, because it was part of packaging and, you know, probably went to the printers and things like that too. So it's a great piece.
Yep.
Definitely. Yeah, and you never know. I mean, I follow a lot of auctions out there, and you sometimes see a piece you think has to be the one that is going to go the highest, and it doesn't. It almost never happens that way, right? There, you just never know. This could have been the I don't recall what the order was, you know, but this piece could have been out there ahead of it, and so it attracted a little bit more interest. Or if it's maybe it was second, and the first person, the first lot got won by somebody else. So in the second one, you've got a more aggressive buyer, you know, wanting to go after it. It's just you can never tell. Yeah, and all art is subjective too, right? And I saw a few people said that Wheeljack is more popular. Hey, I don't know, but a lot of things can play into what makes a piece spectacular and do well. So next up, we got a Chester Gould, Dick Tracy, and I don't think we looked at this one when we did the preview, right? No, we did not.
We had a number of Dick Tracy Sundays and dailies. I didn't put those in that rotation, but this exceeded estimate. It's a nice piece, and we will have more Dick Tracy Sundays and dailies in our July auction. So I thought I would add this one to this list.
Yeah, it's great. They were, you know, for a while there, I feel like 4 or 5 years ago, I was seeing a lot of Chester Goulds out on the market, whether it was, you know, lesser auction houses and those sorts of things. But you haven't really seen a lot on the market in the last several years, certainly since COVID. So a Sunday is definitely nice to score. And even with the evenly laid out panels here, I like this piece a lot. I mean,
well, you have a major villain sneaking around in there too. Flat Top's in like 3 panels or so, and he's like a favorite. Just such a weird character. I mean, Dick Tracy's Rogue Gallery has got to be one of the most disturbing
it's awesome
villains. You know, everyone's got some major malady, and they're like sort of horrifying. So I just think it has like a good flow to it.
Yeah, no, it's great. So that's cool. You're gonna have more Dick Tracy art in future auctions. Fantastic. Michael Wigan says this is as old as him. You shouldn't be telling us your age, Michael. This piece was what was it, 1956? So,
right.
All right. But that's awesome. You know, the thing is, I've really been trying to get good examples from like all the artists who I admire, and Gould's always been on that list. And back in the, like I mentioned, like 4 or 5 years ago, I thought, oh man, there's so many Dick Tracys out there. I'll just get one, you know, tomorrow. And then you just haven't seen too many. So and you know, and they were a little bit more affordable 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. So you know, you got to get them while you can. But this is awesome. Oh man, now let's see. Was that the last piece of OA?
That was the top. Yeah, that was our 10 art. Yeah.
Top. Okay. So that, and I didn't mention the price. That one sold for just under $2,500. All right. Now what do we got here? This was what do we got? Toll Toys, Star Wars. Oh, that's right. I remember this one. Now this one went for almost $50,000. Wow. You guys did say this was a special piece.
Yeah, and this was right there at the top of our estimate. Again, it's the card that it's on, the Empire card, versus Star Wars card, which is how it came out in the U.S. So it's just an anomaly that any of these were made this way. Only a few were known. So this was the premier Star Wars piece of the last auction. I believe this was Sean's favorite Star Wars piece anyway.
It's so good.
So 50,000 is a good place for this piece. I mean, it was at the high end of your estimate. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's an Australian thing, and the Vinyl Cape thing, and the Toll Toys card's rare to begin with, and then you're into the Empire movie. So this just is such a weird thing that a lot of collectors don't even know is out there. So, you know, when that stuff comes up, you kind of got to grab it, or you won't see another one anytime soon. So,
well, that's awesome. So yeah, 50 grand for that then makes sense. How does how much coin does a dude I don't know. You never know, man. There's a lot of wealthy people out there, or maybe somebody's breaking into their 401ks.
Yep.
You just never know. So this is a Transformers Optimus Prime. This one went for almost 35,000.
Yeah, so this is important because this was 10 to 20,000 as our estimate, but we just didn't know because it's an 85 near mint plus, which is a near impossible grade to get for any Transformer toy, let alone this popular toy and the version that it is. So this now sets an auction house record that is the most expensive Transformer toy ever sold at auction, beating our previous record.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Well, that's why you get the Transformer toys when people want to consign them, right?
Absolutely.
That's cool.
no, the comments are right too. You talked about that crossover earlier, but now you're seeing it. Obviously, these collectors have deep pockets, so they get the right piece of art. Blam, they go after it. They have the
Yeah.
power to do so.
Well, congrats to
Buying
the
power.
consigner and the buyer, right? At the end of the day, that's
Both.
yeah. And yep, we did show this one. So this was that Christmas card and letter. I forget what was the year on this one. Oh, 38. That's right. And so this one went for 12,233.
This piece is cool.
Yeah, so again, this is where everything lined up. It's rare. It's Superman. It's not only rare, only one known. First time any have ever come to auction. So we have had things like this in the past with Superman that have exploded. We sold other pieces that we've estimated 2 to 5 or 5 to 10. They've been in the 10 to 20 to 20 plus range. So while it's well above estimate, Ty can comment on this. I don't think it surprised anybody just because, again, I don't want to equate this to the value of an Action Comics #1 because it isn't. But I can say it's rarer than an Action Comics #1 because this is the only one that's known.
Well, you're getting into such early merchandise, like when you're into, pre-40, there's not a lot of stuff. And then something like this is just, they probably didn't send a lot of these out. They probably printed them, at the holiday, and that was it. So for someone to have kept this all those years, I mean, you had to get through the war years and, for things like this to have survived the 40s, it's just a great piece. And, what a Superman collector is definitely looking for.
Word up.
Definitely. So that's cool. And we did preview that one. You weren't sure where it was. And the thing is, it's stuff like that you can't put an estimate on and know for sure what you're, if you have any confidence in what you're putting on it, because you have nothing to reference back to. So successful auction. That's the most important thing. And I know you're rolling into another auction. About 4 months out, 3.5 months out. So
we'll go online the beginning of July. It ends the end of July. It actually ends the week after San Diego Comic-Con. So we will have items on display, and we're taking consignments right now for that auction. So anybody wants to reach out to us, go to Hakes.com, click on the consignment page. Information there is for Sean and for Kelly, and contact them, and they will help you out with your consignment needs.
Do you have when does that window close for the July auction as far as consignments go?
Grab my paperwork. So the very beginning of June, we should have things in hand to make that catalog, and that will be a catalog auction. In May, we have another of our kind of online stopgap auctions. Won't be much art in that. That'll be primarily 1,000 or more comic books, mostly graded, action figures, and political items. But again, online only, no catalog. But then in July, that's our next premier catalog auction, which will have an art section that we are building right now. Have some nice leads. We won't, put any spoilers out there yet, but some interesting things are in the works.
Awesome. All right. Well, so if you have things that you want to find out whether or not you want to have Hakes consign it, you can go over to Hakes.com and contact them through that way. And any of the mailings that we send out a few promotional consignment emails for Hakes as well. And I know Sean and Kelly's emails are always in those emails as well. So very easy to reach out to either of those gentlemen and get their advice on something. And I know that when is it? It's in June. June 13th, Alex, you'll be on the show with me. We'll be doing a
Excited
collector
for it.
interview.
Yeah, I will get my gallery built up and be ready for you.
Awesome. And then, and Sean, I know Sean is going to be back on in the fall at some point. We're going to be talking about color guides. So Todd, when are you going to be doing a collector interview with me?
If you can find enough stuff that's of the right ilk in my gallery, I'll do it whenever you like.
Okay. Well, I let you pick that. I just say, hey, I'm going to talk to you. You get to pick the pieces we talk about. So you got to be able to pick 18 pieces that you feel are worthy of.
Well, that's it's something I say to Todd all the time is he may not have the most valuable art collection in the world, right? Few of us do. But the pieces he has, he loves. So, and that's where we preach at Hakes, buy what you love and love what you buy. So, and I think you'll agree, these shows aren't about how expensive your collection is. It's how much you love it and sharing that interest with other people. So Todd has a great gallery of things that he really loves. That's important.
It's like my collecting in general. My art's just like my collection. It's just so varied because I like a little bit of everything. I just got a Conan strip today in the mail that I picked up, I thought, for a good price, and Ernie Chan, and very happy with it. I added to the gallery this morning. So, just always on the lookout for, something that just gets you, so.
Yeah, it speaks to you.
And I can't stop staring at that cat clock in the vacuum.
It's hypnotizing you, Bill.
It is. It absolutely is. I can't focus on anything but that thing. Because most of our walls are static. I don't usually interview somebody who's got something in motion behind them. So it is hypnotic. But all right, so guys, congrats on the auctions. I'm happy you guys had a good one. And as far as anyone interested in consigning, you know where to reach these guys at hakes.com, and you've got through early June to get your consignments into them. And then they have an auction that runs pretty much most of July, as we heard, and it ends the week after San Diego.
Got it.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. I love hanging out with you guys. One at a time. That's going to be next, though. So that's how we're going to do this. But look forward to the next time we get to chat. And again, it's always a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
You too.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Oh, look, James is in the room. How the heck did James get in here? We'll show him again just for giggles.
No.
Sorry, James. I told you I was going to do the schedule next. But so that's good. I saw some questions that I should have highlighted those before I dropped Hakes out. Where were they? So Hakes is where to sell toys. That is I would say yes, Tim. If you've got toys to sell, I would talk to Hakes. I mean, Hakes dabbles in pretty much everything. So if you've got anything toy related or art related or film related, you might want to speak to them about it. So it's always good to kind of check out historical sales on any venue. That's to see what their track record is on stuff. But certainly Hakes is the place for toy sales. What was the other question? West asked about Tim Fling. No, I know Tim Fling does not work at Hakes any longer. I mean, maybe I should have asked them before I answer that, but I'm pretty sure that's true. But yeah, so they had a good auction. That's what's important. So James is in the green room, but he's got to wait a second because I've got to go through and I'm going to hit on the schedule a little bit, especially since I just mentioned that Alex is going to be on the show in June. So schedule-wise, I'm going to be at MegaCon tomorrow, and I know it says 1 to 6 p.m. there. It's probably going to be longer than that. I think I'm going to try to get in around 11, and then who knows how late I'll stay. But it was going to be my only day at MegaCon, but I did get asked by Adam Kubert today to sit in on a panel with him on Sunday. So I'm going to be doing a panel with him at 3:30 on Sunday. So anybody and I wrote 3:31 on there, it should be 4:02. But that's what happens when I copy paste stuff. But anyway, so if you're at MegaCon on Sunday and you want to see what's going on with Adam, stop by that panel. I don't know anything about the room numbers or anything like that, or even what the topic is, but I think I'll be emceeing that one. So that'll be a lot of fun. And, if Adam Kubert asks you to do something, it's best for you just to say yes. And I'm happy to do it. But Saturday night, I have got a art sales show, of course, with the Next Comic Art team at 9 p.m. It's not a 2 p.m. show like we'd usually do on a Saturday. It will be at 9 p.m. So That's 10 a.m. in the Philippines, so that works really well for them. Of course, James, who we're going to be talking to in a moment, he's got his Tentacles show on April 3rd, Monday night, and he's got an all-star cast waiting to talk about Tentacles for that one. Patrick and Jeannie Wilshire on Tuesday. It's actually going to just be Patrick. I found out that Jeannie is not going to be able to make it, unfortunately, but it'll be a great show regardless. I've known Patrick for a very, very long time, and I think a lot of people have seen his calf gallery, but they probably never met him in person. So you're going to get a treat on that night for sure. Now, I've got a heritage recap as part of a calf update. Then I've got all these sales shows going on. Omen, Cubert. The Anthony Make Offer sales show is actually going to be on the 17th of Monday, not a Wednesday. It turns out Mike didn't need that night off. So I'll be doing a Anthony Make Offer show middle of April, Fat Jack's fundraiser on my birthday, April 18th. We've got a Joe Linsner sales show. We got Robbie and John Moore, Dennis Cowan, Dexter Soy. I've got Dexter Vines now as well. I'll have Sideshow Bob on May 2nd. That's going to be a fun interview. The Sketchbook show, we're going to be that's why James is in the green room, everybody. James is going to help us set up, and we're going to pick what that April sketchbook theme is. And so that's why there's question marks on the May date there. I'll have the one, the only Alberto Gonzalez part of the show on Tuesday, May 9th. Then, I kept leaving it off, but Comic Art Live will be back on May 20th and 21st. I'm starting to get a lot of emails about that. I really should push out a PR piece letting everybody know. But the next virtual Comic Art Live show will be May 25th and 21st. And, of course, we'll have something that Friday night before that on the 19th. Then Kevin Nolan is either going to be on the 3rd or the 10th. But I put it in on the 3rd because I think that's really when it's going to happen. Then Alex Winter and Simone Bianchi. And then there's lots of other artists that I've got potential shows lined up with. So not all of them I've inked to a date yet. So, and speaking of inked, before I bring James in, no, he did not get another X-Men tattoo. I sort of jumped the gun last week when I started talking about that show, because don't you know it, remember the show that we're doing, I've been saying February 2024. Well, the hotel told me today that they didn't get a better offer. They got a bigger offer, or a bigger group that wants to come in on the weekend that they told me I was going to have. We hadn't signed the agreement yet, so they're asking me if I would be willing to change the date. Hopefully that comes with some form of concessions, an extra cookie every morning. I don't know, but I've got a call with them in the morning. They're asking me to move it to 1 week before, which would make it the last week in January. So, of course, I really don't want to do that. I want to keep it the first weekend in February. That's tied to CAP's anniversary, but I'll know more tomorrow. So definitely by next Thursday, I'll be able to tell you one way or another whether it's going to be the last weekend in January or the first weekend in February. I'm still going to try to lobby for the first week in February, since she told me, she's committed it to me, and now she emailed me today saying maybe not. But I will know. And I knew I should have not said anything until pen had touched paper. But anyway, and what other stuff is out there? I saw somebody. Oh, Stanley wants to know if I'm going to shoot some video this weekend. Of course, I'll shoot some video. I'll take some photos, and for MegaCon. Anybody going to C2E2, please do the same. C2E2 starts tomorrow. MegaCon actually started today. So anybody going out to those shows had better take a lot of photos and videos. I will do the same. And if you do that, reach out to me, and I'll give you a Google Drive folder to upload your images and video clips to. No, Jason, I'm going to tell Jason Schachter to bar the door when he sees you driving up the street. So just don't even try it, brother. Don't even try it. You got to be quick on your claims when I have Adam on the show. So I'm going to talk to, I know Jason's at C2E2 right now, but I'll get him on the phone and just tell him Jason D'Ambrogia cannot come over until after the Adam Kubert show. Yes, fingers crossed as well. Don't worry. I mean, one way or another, it's going to work out. I knew it. I just had it. I felt like, because I was telling the woman at the Hilton, I said, I'm going into Orlando tomorrow. I'd like to come in with my deposit, and I want a contract in front of me so I can sign it. I emailed her on Tuesday, and I got no reply. So I emailed her again around 5 today, just saying, all right, I'm coming into town tomorrow. I'd really like to swing by. And then that's when I got the reply. So is what it is. I'm still small potatoes until I do something. So it's fine. I don't mind it. All right. Well, James is here. He's ready and raring to help us figure out what we're gonna do for our sketchbook show next month.
What's going on, Bill?
Not much, man. I'm always having fun. We had
Hanging out
Hakes
on
on.
Thursday?
I love chatting with the team from Hakes. Got Todd over here. That was fun to see him. Yeah. Now I got you in the room with your
On
Super Dad shirt on. Look at that.
I got it from Father's Day. Man, you got a lovely audience on CAF tonight. Look at all these people.
They're all kind of chatty in there. I mean, that's fun. I don't even know what they're
Hey.
chatting about.
I will say, I'm glad it wasn't in text, or you can't search James's Tentacle Show with future employers or something, because that didn't come out right.
James Siegel's
Tentacle Spectacular.
show.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
James bears all.
No, man. So, let's just say I was a little slightly nervous about the tentacle theme, but I will say the community put some solid art up. Solid art. Actually, I was slightly disappointed that my fears didn't come to fruition, but that's okay.
Yeah. Well, it's always good to be. Well, okay. It's sometimes good to be disappointed. In this case, I do think it was a good thing because yes, we were all worried about the manga, anime, whatever that we might have run into.
It's all art, Bill. It's all art.
All we know is Scott Wingo knows a thing or two about it, but maybe he really was talking about Doc Ock when he was talking about tentacles. So who
he's
are
been
your
Spidey
guests?
fan on CAF. Did you check his Japanese CAF?
I have not. So who are the panelists for the show next Monday?
It's Scott, Derek Cravel, and if you don't know Derek, he's basically a comic encyclopedia. It's pretty crazy. And then, of course, we got Tatiana from TD Dykes Art. She's joining us, and then Sharon, and for Anthony's wife, or excuse me, Anthony's her husband. Let's do proper possession there. And so she'll be on as well. And I think she's going to do something pretty cool for the show as well. So I think it'll be interesting. And I guess Sharon and Tatiana and all of us are going to start discussing tentacles.
We'll find out how that goes. Chris Nork says crab rules. Of course, Derek is a walking, talking encyclopedia of comics, comics characters, comics artists. He knows all and is happy to share his wisdom.
In our little chat groups and everything, Derek's in there, and we always bring up, hey, what was that time when? And 8 seconds later, he not only knows, he's got the screenshot of the actual comic page that situation played out. So, dude's impressive. So, but that being said, well, I guess what's going to happen is what happened last time. Bill's going to kick me out. I'm going to monitor the chat for a good 10 minutes. I'd love to see your guys' ideas. I'll take note of the ideas. I will put them all on a poll, and I'll come back into the YouTube live stream and let the audience decide.
All right. So put your thinking caps on, everybody, and start putting your thoughts into the chat on what you would like the April theme to be. And James is going to be taking notes, and he's going to pull together the survey for you, the poll. And as you remember, you got to have your phone handy because you're going to scan a QR code, and that'll get you into the poll so you can cast your votes tonight. So Mikhail's sticking with household furniture, I see. Chairs.
I will say this. I've auto-deleted any mentions of goblins or crotches. So sorry, guys.
Yeah, that's out. And there's not enough art to post for that. Come on, everybody. Everybody would be going.
We already know who'd win. So
that's right. Exactly.
All
well,
right.
People, can you imagine everybody at C2E2 and MegaCon, artists getting asked to draw crotch goblins because nobody has them, so they have to go out and then, we don't want to associate the channel exclusively with crotch goblins.
Yep. So Bill says, ask all your artist friends for crotch goblin commissions for Mr. Bill Cox.
Motorcycles. There. See, we're getting some okay ones
I like
in there.
motorcycles.
I do too. Motorcycles is good. You can get some Hot Wheels stuff in there. You can get some Ghost Rider. Shoot, there's lots of possibilities there.
Just got a Ghost Rider. Okay, kick me out. Go do your
All
thing.
right.
I'll be back in about 10, 15 minutes.
I'll hide you, and you just start waving when you want me to bring you back in. How's that? Well, you
Deal.
know how to bring yourself back in. You can butt in at any time you want.
I'm just going to do it right in the middle and then jump back out right in the middle and just ruin your whole show.
All right. Keep an eye on the chat, James. Landscape, says NSN Art. There, what comic art pages can have nice landscapes in them. I think there's not a lot of Bill Lash out there. Claws are good. There's a lot of different characters that have claws. Winter Fun, April Fools, yeah. Art that appeared in divorce hearings, yeah. There's a few of those out there, Mark Fong. All right. I know that James he's got his hands full right now. So, what do I got here for you? I guess I can go ahead and do that. We got a package from Anthony, an art package, everyone. Anthony's at C2E2. Oh, and can you tell? I got my haircut today. Look at this. Look at that. How's that look? What do you think? It's about like I got like 4 inches cut off today. So it's fine. It's not tucked into my collar anymore. Yeah, Killing Joke pages. There's a limit on those, Jason. So yeah, let's see. Where are my knives at? Here we go. So let's see. So yes, this one came from Anthony. I don't know when I got this. I think I actually got this last Friday or Saturday. Yeah, look at you guys. Best. Yeah, okay, Marcus. Birth pages, planes, trains, and automobiles. Yeah, little Steve Martin action there. Damaged art. Yeah, we can talk a little bit about damaged art tonight. Because I did get it back. It's actually right there behind me. I can show that off a little bit later if I remember. I had my meeting with Alexandra Von Hawk the other day. She agreed to do a brief interview with me, so I worked out setting up the camera in here, and we talked for like 45 minutes, mostly about what she did on the piece that I had her work on, but she talked about some conservation stuff around that as well. So it was a very interesting conversation. I just have not had a chance to edit it. I'll show you guys a segment from it today, but I don't think I'm going to be able to have the chance to really go through and edit it because of MegaCon. So I think sometime next week I will have that full video out there. It's like 45 minutes, but it was fun. It was definitely a fun conversation, and she knows her stuff. She definitely knows her stuff. All right, so Anthony, he I don't know, he got this art in like a couple weeks ago, and then he didn't want to. He was like on the fence about wanting to like get rid of it right away, and I was just like, dude, you owe it to me, right? All the work I do for you, you gotta take care of me. And so it still took a couple weeks to kind of convince him to let it go. I don't know why, but it did. So yeah, so I actually have my first. Is it my first? Yeah, it would be my first John Romita Jr. X-Men. Jason. So it's actually from what was it from? Uncanny X-Men Annual 4. So it's got Bob McLeod inks. I'm sure I hold this up to the camera. I'll be out of focus for the next 5 minutes, but I've got who doesn't have a thing for Nightcrawler and Storm, and I don't know how often she grabbed his tail that firmly, but she did. And they're flying through hell or whatever. I can't remember the exact scenario that they had going on there with that one, but the fact that you got Nightcrawler and Storm, two of my favorite X-Men after probably Cyclops and Colossus. But very nice page there. You got Bob McLeod inks, and an early John Romita Jr. page with Uncanny X-Men. So yeah, it is excellent. Thanks. Look at that. Is it stained? Yeah, I guess it has. Does it have like a little? No, it does not. What are you talking about? Anyway, so yep, Carlos Mo, no giveaway. I'm sorry, I don't have a giveaway. But yeah, so very happy to have this page, because I remember that's the one with the cover with Doc Strange and on the front and center on that annual. It was just a fun story. So yeah, I'm very happy. It's tough to like sit on these packages for 4 or 5 days and not get to open them and look at the art. But thank you, Chris, and everybody else who was saying some nice. Yeah, so Bob McLeod inks, he was always solid. I mean, in a weird way, when we think about inkers, certain inkers like a Sinnott or an Austin, I think they, that maybe they sometimes compliment the artists in different ways, but you can still get their style. Bob McLeod too. I think so I look at this piece and I see a little bit more Bob McLeod maybe than I do John Romita Jr. maybe with John, I see it's maybe in the layouts or whatnot, but I don't mind that at all because I love Bob's work, as everybody knows. I can't wait to see him tomorrow at MegaCon and say hi to him. But yeah, I just love it. And then, I'll show it once again. Those first two panels are awesome, aren't they? Yeah. I mean, it's worth it just for that. So, yeah, absolutely lovely. And the thing is, there it goes. There it goes. All right. The funny thing is the page after this one, because I went back to read the issue, the page after this one has harpies on it. Now, that would have been the page to get, because like when Storm's turning her head right there, it's, something's coming at her, and it's like 4 or 5 harpies flying at her. So it's that might have been the better page, at least as we see things here on the Comic Art Live channel. But I'm very happy with this one. Thank you, Anthony. Anthony doesn't get a lot of X-Men art that Jason doesn't buy, so I have to get one when I can. So it is what it is. What do we got? What on earth? Okay. That's why am I chatting? There it is. It's James. So James has his 10. So let's, I'm like, is Maureen texting somehow through the chat? I always forget I gave James admin access here.
Well, I didn't even think about it. I thought it was YouTube at first. So I was making you a note. I was like, oh, that showed up as Bill.
Exactly. That's why I'm like, what's going on around here? Am I being hacked? But anyways, yeah. What do you think of that page, James? That was all right, right?
That was gorgeous.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. Look at stepping up. Yeah,
well, I got it every once in a while. And like I say, Anthony, I've picked up a lot of stuff from Anthony over the last couple years. And, I love every piece I get. But I was, he just never really has any. Well, he had that really great Thor page, too, the Buscema Thor with the Asgard thing. I mean, I was tempted to ask him about that. But I wanted the X-Men page more, right? Because I've never had anything from that annual, right? I mean, right.
Argument here.
I know. I'm speaking to the choir right there. If it's an X-Men page, you just go for it. Don't worry. The Thor's you'll get a Thor another time.
No, I mean, they're a dime a dozen.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but anyway. So you've got you got your 10?
Yeah, we got 10. We got 10 good ones. So
I'm getting my phone ready here too.
Okay. Go to the. Do you want to pull on my share screen, or
I am going to do that right here, and there we go.
All right. Let's do hide. This should jump right in, unless we have technical difficulties. Oh, look at that! And I made it so that you don't have to have your password, so you guys should be able to go to Slido.com.
Got my phone ready.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Jump right in. Do the QR code. Vehicles, cars, motorcycles, planes, trains. I kind of brought them all together. Sharks, marine, bricks, and architecture. I thought that one might be cool. Landscapes. My personal favorite, I like the April Fool's jokes humor. It's topical.
Yeah, well, you could get a lot out of that. I mean, whether it's strip art or, I mean, gosh, I mean, there's a lot of that can go in a lot of different directions.
Yeah. Painted art. Weapons, and that's like people with big swords or Punishers with guns and all that kind of stuff, and then aliens, monsters. So I try to jump them all together.
All right, I know which one I'm going for.
Difficulties. That was good.
All right, my vote has been cast.
Your vote's been cast.
Yes, it has.
Well, one thing, if you want to keep this to the side, you can continue with your unboxing.
Well, that was the only thing I had to open, actually. I did get, I wanted to tell her, since I've taken over the sales shows, right, and actually doing the fulfillments and stuff, I did, the first one was with Joe Phillips and then Howard Chaykin and Dan Brereton. The first 2 shows, I was still trying to figure a few things out fulfillment-wise, but in the last one, I threw it out there that I'd be okay with taking checks because I had to add a service fee. Now I know my third eye could not stay on as the fulfillment because they were doing all the invoicing, follow-ups, packing, shipping, everything, and they were making less than I was. And so then you take away that without having any kind of a service fee, and they were getting a credit card ding. I'm lucky they worked for us for a year. So when I decided to make that change, I offered the option of Zelle for the Brereton show, and I even offered check too. I'm like, hey, I want to, I'm okay with waiting. I could front the artist the money if I had to, as long as I knew people were going to send in their checks. So I was going to open them on air, but I did get 2 checks today. I've got a couple more to come in, but everybody's been so prompt. I've actually, and it's so everybody knows who bought art, that aside from the check buyers, everything's mailed already. So we're actually getting rather good at fulfilling these art orders. That was on Saturday. So chicks for
In
free.
about 2 or 3 years, man, half this audience is probably going to owe you juice.
Maybe one way or another, but it's fun though. I mean, I spent 20 years not really being involved in commerce with the hobby, and even now, I mean, I'm really not, but I am, I guess, and it's fun, and I kind of I like being able to play this role in it. I mean, we've kind of got our feet wet when we were doing the mystery sketch events, last 2 Comic Art Lives, and within in terms of packing and shipping and all that, but yeah. So thank you to everybody who's kind of rolled along with me for these first 3 sales shows, though, because we were trying to figure it out internally, how we're going to handle it. My daughter Emma's been helping me with the packing. She's got her specific jobs. Maureen has her part in the packing. I'm printing the labels, and we got it all worked out. It's down to a science now. So but I appreciate everybody always being fair and prompt and all that. It's meant a lot to all of us to get us here. So. So what do you think, James?
I want to show this. I posted on CAF. This was my newest.
Oh, that's right. Here, let me go full screen here for you.
It's got an overlay on it for the Spider-Man on it. But yeah, that was exciting. It was a trade.
Dang, that is nice. Did you have to give up something equally nice?
Yes. It was a fair value trade. That's for sure.
Good. That's great.
Yeah. I mean, both sides walk away happy, and both sides wondered if the other guy did better. So that's why it's a good trade.
See here, like Jason wants to know, can I pack his stuff if he does? Yeah, for a little higher percentage, Jason, I will do it. So we can talk. We definitely can, because I know packing is the worst part of a sales show. I didn't know until I started doing it again. I didn't know how good I've had it, just being the MC. And not worrying about collecting the fees or anything like that. I now have a deeper appreciation for, Mike and Anthony and everybody who's done an amateur show before, James, Dino, Jason, Fish, Jordan, Tatiana, you name it. I'm sympathetic. It's not like you have to hound people, but it's a lot to kind of keep. You got to put it in a spreadsheet. You got to see did I email this person? Have I gotten a return email? Have they said how they're paying me? Have I, and you got to track it all down. And then at the end of the time, then you got to take care of me. And so that's a lot of work. I'm doing the same thing here now.
I will tell you this though.
Mikhail,
we'll go to the side, but I've done dueling dealers twice. Of course, it's been mostly this audience, right? And yeah, there's packing, there's logistics, but we're talking thousands of dollars in items. And I mean, the audience paid up. I wouldn't do it. We wouldn't do it if we didn't trust the audience.
Exactly.
And there was really no hassle. So,
well, I talked with Mark Hay going into it, and he gave me pointers because he had told me he once had a package that got lost for like 6 months, and they finally figured out because it was flat and it didn't have like a colorful sticker on the one side, that it was sitting on a brown shelf for, because he packs in Masonite. So he's like, my one thing I'll tell you is, do something colorful on it. So I bought yellow tape, so after I do we do it in regular clear packing tape, I put yellow tape around both ends, and I bought these like handle with care stickers to put on it. So there is no way you're going to lose my package. I keep saying my package. You're not going to lose my artwork. Yeah, you like that, don't you, James?
No comment. I mean, it's not a big.
We talked about James Tentacle earlier today, so we might as well talk about. Yeah.
All right. Anyway. Well, you handle your packages, and I will show the results.
All right. Let's lay it on us.
Oh.
Whoa, that is not what I was expecting.
Man, you guys are too traditional. I'm impressed.
Wow, the thing I wrote on isn't even in the top 5, 6, 7. Wow. Well,
we'll tell you though, I'm excited about painted art, just because I'm sure there's going to be some gorgeous examples put up. It's pretty broad, but I think it'll be nice.
Yeah. No, I think that's fine, because you could get Joe Jusko painted card art all the way over to something from Wizards of the Coast trading cards, or literally anything in between. You could have Gil Elfgren pinups from the 50s. It doesn't matter. So yeah, that's going to be very interesting.
Published to non-published alike, quite a bit. All right. Well, I know you got an action-packed
Well, you were part of that action-packed evening, James.
Yeah,
So
fair enough.
you were the special guest I was talking about.
Oh, I appreciate that. I appreciate it. All right. Well, enjoy the rest of the show, Mr. Calf audience, and I wish Snork best of luck. And I will see you guys, I guess, on Monday with the whole panel crew.
All right. Take it easy, James. Thank you as always. We'll see you on Monday.
Welcome, sir.
All right. Body painting, says Chris Snork. Absolutely not. that one will not count. So we'll find a way to veto that or turn it off if we get anybody posting body paintings. Hey, Jiggy, good to see you. Yes, we will be hanging out Saturday evening. Looking forward to that as well. And Dave Kopecki says that he has a ton of paintings, so that works for him as well. All right, yeah, some Bama Doc Savage paperback cover art would be really awesome, David Wetzel. Absolutely. I mean, yeah, there's plenty of stuff. Struzen, yeah. Yeah, I can only imagine. Now, this one, as much as the superheroines show or sketchbook, what set records probably for the number of pieces, painted artwork could probably trounce it in its own way if it gets the right crowd interested in posting. So we shall see. I'll probably paint over. No, you better not, Alberto. Don't do that. Alberto's suggesting that he might paint over one of his cap covers to make sure he can enter. No. But yeah, there you go. NSN Art, Fabry paintings. Exactly. Did I get an email about something Fabry related? What was that? Sorry, let me go off on a tangent here. Somebody told me about an art show. What was that? Was it Fabry or am I thinking somebody else? I must be thinking of somebody else. What the heck? I know I forwarded it to Colin. Who was that? Exhibit. Let me search on that. Nope, not coming up with anything. Oh, wait a minute. No, I did find it. What was it? Is it Cart Gallery? And it's Steve Dillon. That's what it was. It was Steve Dillon Art Show. He's got a Comics Through the Eyes of an Englishman, the Steve Dillon exhibition in collaboration with the Dillon family. So that's going to be probably a very, very interesting thing. I believe Colin should have posted this to the site yesterday. I don't know if anybody else missed it, but if not, go check out CAF's news for more information on that. It says the exhibition will begin on Saturday, April 1st, so this weekend, and it will run through May 4th. So what, just about 5 weeks there. But they've got 50 original artworks from Hellblazer, Animal Man, Adam, the Punisher, Wolverine, and the Thunderbolts. So there'll be artworks for sale, some other pieces that are not available for sale. So yeah, you can read the whole announcement over on CAF. Steve Dillon. Thank you, Colin. I don't know why I had something else in my head, but probably too many. I've been reading too many emails this week. Anyway, Jeff Wedding's birthday. Is that what it is? 5/4. Okay. May the 4th, of course. I get it. See, I'm not as slow as you think sometimes. But what else we got here? Okay, now we might as well do the flip, right? I've got this weekly flip from Fish, and it was a surprise. He asked me, I think, on Tuesday if I had one. We haven't done a flip since Peter Rose flip, which I think was about 3 weeks ago. So it's been a while. We were overdue, everybody. Remember, we like showing flips here. Cribs videos too. I saw somebody suggested that Sean should do a Cribs video from his abode. As he's actually still in the green room. He's probably listening. His camera's off though. But he just needs to get a better light if he was going to do a Cribs video. But that would he should do it. He definitely should do it. At least a flip. He's got a lot of different stuff that no one's ever seen. So a fish flip. Yes, Chris Snork, you've got that right. So yeah, let's go ahead and do this. I thought it was going to be a little bit too long to include because it's right at 10 minutes, and the platform doesn't allow for videos over 10 minutes. So 10 minutes on the money is good. So we're going to go ahead and show this in its entirety today, and I will probably get it posted over the weekend to the channel as a standalone, but you get to enjoy it tonight as a premiere. Here we go.
What are you saying?
I say he'll flip you.
He'll what?
Flip you. Flip you for real.
Hey everybody,
let's try and do a quick flip of this book. This is one of my portfolios. Here we go. So this is a very special cover to me. What If 32. I loved two What If stories very much as a child. This one and the What If 27, What If Phoenix Had Lived. I lost out on this one on eBay, and then a few years later it came up on Heritage, so I went crazy at it, but you know, you only live once. Beautiful cover by Bob Layton. Just love this one, the Korvac Saga. And here's the other What If story I loved. This is the page 1 splash. Doesn't have the stats anymore, but this is What If Phoenix Had Lived by Jerry Bingham, and page 2, which has the retelling of the Phoenix story. From the beginning all the way through the Phoenix with the same words and all, up to the Dark Phoenix. But thank you very much to Dino for both of these. Here's a couple of Rob Liefeld splashes. Crazy story how I got these. They were sitting in a collection since 1993, and I guess they both came to me. So this is the back cover of Wolverine 8, the famous Mr. Fix-It issue with the Hulk and Wolverine on the front cover. This is the back cover, and this is the pinup from the back of New Mutants Annual 5, which is the first issue of New Mutants that Rob Liefeld ever worked on. In fact, he confirmed on Facebook this is the first time he ever drew the team together, so pretty cool to have that. Here's some Captain America by Mike Zeck. Here's the 270 cover by Zeck and Beatty. Beatty did a beautiful job inking this. It's just gorgeous. Still not sure if this Zipatone kind of turned or it was always supposed to be different color Zipatones, but who knows. And this is a great page I picked up at Heroes Con last year. Another Zeck cap page, not from the same issue, but 277 this time. Just gorgeous. The framing, the centering, beautiful page. Here's some of my favorite 90s covers. Very couldn't be more different, but this is, of course, by Angel Medina, the Warlock and Infinity Watch 1 cover. Which 90s kid didn't see this cover everywhere growing up? And this is a What If No One Was Watching The Watcher, which is kind of like a humor special they did. It's John Romita Sr. drew this cover. I remember fondly reading this with my father, so it means a lot to me. Here's a couple of Galactus pages. This one I bought recently at auction. This was a John Buscema page from Judgment Day. I have the last page with the big Silver Surfer splash on my wall, so that can't be in this video, but that one just has Surfer. This has Galactus, Nova, Mephisto, which pretty much makes up the whole cast of the story, those 4 characters. Beautiful, beautiful page. And here's a John Byrne Galactus page from Darkseid vs. Galactus. Darkseid, Darkseid. It's super detailed. I never read this book, this story, but I saw this and just mesmerizing. Here's a couple of random splashes from back before my time. This is a Jim Starlin and Rudy Nebris Doctor Strange splash. Pretty cool. And here's a Joe Sinnott and Bill Sienkiewicz Fantastic Four splash. Although it's probably more Joe Sinnott than Bill Sienkiewicz. But pretty old-timey looking. Here's a couple of pages that make people go, ooh. This is a Jim Lee X-Men page. This is the title splash to X-Men number 3. I got this not too long ago. It takes the X-Men and combines it with my true love, which is cosmic stuff, space stuff, and you have all the space in the background and spaceship and so on and so forth. So it's a beautiful page. And this I got recently from Scott Wingo. He did a nice trade with me. And I got this McFarlane page. I never thought I'd own a McFarlane page. It's got Spider-Man, of course, messing with Wolverine, and I think this has happened more than once. This isn't the only page. I've seen a bunch of pages where Wolverine puts up a claw on either side of the person's face, and the third claw goes up just about halfway, and he makes his threat. But yeah, I'm happy to own a McFarlane page. Here's a couple more Spidey pages. This is a Gil Kane, John Romita page. Of course, this is the famous cover to Amazing Spider-Man 39, which is the first ever Romita issue. This panel recreates that. Interesting thing about this, if you look at my calf, if you blow up the image, you know, Gil Kane did the pencils, but if you blow it up, you'll see that John Romita didn't exactly copy all the pencils. There's a lot of pencils in very different places that Romita just ignored. I guess Mr. Romita figured, I know how to do this. I don't have to follow your pencils. So a lot of this is Kane, a lot of it's Romita, but it's just a beautiful, beautiful page. And this is a J.R. Jr. page. I loved John Romita Jr.'s style back before he changed. And this was his style. I guess he was trying to copy his father, but I thought it was beautiful. And this is a beautiful Spider-Man page. Here's another Spider-Man page, but the only Spider-Man on it is the name Spider-Man. But it's a famous scene. Here lies Spider-Man slain by the Hunter by Mike Zeck. So it's a great page. I traded for this not so long ago. I love it. I love it. I can't wait to put this one on my wall. Here's a random page, the Keith Pollard Thor page, but it's pretty cool. pretty cool. All these different Mephistos. We call that Mephistais. I don't know. But Thor throws his hammer and it makes its way through all of them until it hits the real one. Pretty cool page. See, here's some George Perez from Infinity Gauntlet #1. This is the page before the snap. Had this for a little while. Kind of went crazy on this one also, but sometimes you see one panel and the heart wants what it wants. This I just got. Let's see if I can take this out and stay within the camera frame without hitting the pedestal that my camera's on. All right, there we go. I'm just not gonna be able to put that in until after the video, but this is a pretty cool DPS I just picked up. I mean, come on. This is special, right? This is crazy. Again, my true love, space. Maybe I should have been an astronaut. I'm not smart enough, but yeah, Thanos' tribute to death. Death with the pretty face on, death with the death face on. Just a beautiful page, beautiful DPS. I'm looking forward to framing that with a different DPS I already have on my wall. Here's some more Thanos. This is Ron Lim Thanos, and I actually saw someone walking around with a T-shirt. Had these two panels on it, and I never knew it was made into a T-shirt before. But this is my favorite panel, so I don't know why that one didn't make the shirt. But there's Iron Man's head, not just his mask, but I think his head was bouncing around. This is the first ever panel appearance of the Grandmaster. This is Sal Buscema, switching over from Ron Lim, but staying within the cosmic frame. Sal Buscema, King the Conqueror, Avenger 69. Pretty cool. Even got a little Captain America on there, but Grandmaster. When mortals meet me, they call me the Grandmaster. When we part, they call me Sorrow. I mean, how cool is that for the first time he ever appeared in any Marvel story? Those are his opening words ever. Pretty crazy. I love the cosmic stuff. Keeping with the cosmic theme, this time Jim Starlin. This was my first Starlin page over here. Still maybe my favorite. I just love the three main characters, Thanos and Death, and Drax the Destroyer. The old Drax, the way he used to look. And Death almost looks like a Jawa from Star Wars, but just beautiful page. And this is a title splash to Captain Marvel number 27. And that's Rick Jones. And just, it's not just Jim Starlin. Pablo Marcos' inks on this is just gorgeous. And here's two more Starlins, and these are consecutive pages. And over here you have Captain Marvel doing the Zohan kick, knocking the cosmic cube out of Thanos' hand. Thanos going running for it. It's pretty crazy. And then now deal with Captain Marvel. So pretty cool. Full splash, made up of a few different images. But yeah, this is the creation of the Marvel Universe, at least the cosmic side of it. Jim Starlin made that all by himself. Here's just some random 90s covers that I picked up when I started collecting before I was lucky enough to get into some of the older stuff. So here's a Dave Hoover Captain America cover. Here's a Gary Copiz Punisher cover. This was a gift to me. Thank you, Khalil. Secret Santa gift. Pretty crazy gift, right? Ron Lim Thanos. This is Ron Lim Surfer, but it was then inked by Gary Martin. Here's another Warlock and Infinity Watch cover, but this one's not #1. This one's Gamora kicking ass in fishnets. Solo 1, page 1. Another pickup from Heroes Con last year. These are a couple of recent pickups right here. Joe Jusko just redid the 1992 set with a Kickstarter. So I got the Thanos and the Iceman, and working on more. Here's some What The pages, just some silly stuff. This is what if Spider-Man had not been bitten by the spider, and the answer is nothing happens. And over here is some sort of funny Galactus Silver Surfer story. Nothing so crazy, but pretty goofy looking stuff. Here's a couple of commissions by JR. I didn't commission these, I bought them after the fact. Ramona Freighton. And finally a Hollow Knight commission I did have done. Sorry, it's sideways, but I can't really move this thing now. But by Aranga, who's amazing. And before we close this up and say goodbye, I'll show you one more page that couldn't really fit in the album, this large art. This is from Daredevil 16. This is the first time John Romita Sr. ever drew Spider-Man, large art. This was his tryout issue for Spider-Man. This was 3 months before ASM 39. In fact, that might be the first ever thwip. I think I looked it up. I think it is the first ever John Romita Sr. thwip. So thwip. All right, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this this portfolio. Next time we'll do another one.
Flip out, man.
Yeah, I liked having the extra flip out stuff. That was lots of fun, man. Thank you, Fish, for adding that on there. And so I was trying to find a picture on my phone, and oh, there they are. Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. I've got other photos laying around, but I don't know where they're at. But I was going to show that artwork because the next segment here, I'm just going to show the portion of the video that I did with Alexandra Von Hawk to, when she brought the art that needed to be restored. I was hoping I could find a photograph of the art that was damaged. But I'm sure everybody who watched that show remembers how it looked, right? Remember the package was already bent. Like a third of the way down, and we were wondering, was it going to be right in the middle of the art or was it going to be on the edge of the art? And I knew going into it the artwork had water damage, and I wish I had a photo of it, but I'll show it to you. Well, I'll show it as part of the video when I edit it properly. I'll be able to show all the damage that it had before going into it. But I'm not going to show you enough of the video clip to show you what where she talks about what she did, but I will show you the artwork. And because if you saw it, you kind of can remember the shape it was in. When I got it, here's the artwork. If you recall, there was a big section of water damage that was right here. So this was all warped already. I knew when I bought the artwork, I was going to get restoration work done on it. But then when it came in, it was creased and bent about like 3/4 of an inch into the artwork straight across. And you can see she did a fantastic job. I mean, it's funny, I going into it, you think, is it going to come back and look as good as new? And, because I didn't know. I mean, this is the first time I've had any restoration work done. And I think on a pen and ink page, there's lots of ways that you can probably fake it. But dealing with the fact that we're dealing with matte board here, I can still see some of, I don't know, you can call it like scarring or stretch marks. I hate to use that word, but, because remember when this thing got bent, it puckered the top of the mat board. So even though she's got it flattened, I can still see a few like scars, in the board. And but the thing was like I remember I mentioned she does restoration the right way, where she documents everything that she does. So it was like maybe a month into having the artwork, she told me that she discovered that there's black mold in the art as well, because when she went into work on the area with the water damage, part of what she had to do was flatten that board, right? So what she did was, you can kind of see from the back here, well, maybe not, but what do we got? We got a straight cut from here to here, down. And then what she did was she folded this whole section of the back board up to get to the layer of the art on the front, because of course you can't work from the front, she's got to work from the back. So she folded up like a fan all of these layers of it, and as she did that, she realized that there was mold inside the mat board. So she ended up folding this side up all the way down to the end too, cleaned out all the mold, and then used, I didn't ask her what kind of adhesive, or maybe I did, we'll find out when we watch the interview in total, that after she cleaned out all the mold, then she flattened it and, using adhesive, glued all the layers back together again. But there's a Chanel No. 5 residue on the edges, Rick. Anyway, yes, nothing worse than pucker scars, says Marcus. All right, I'm sorry. I got to do it. I got to do it. Anyway, did I smell for mold? Got you guys. At any rate, how does she get the layers to stick back together? Again, she had some form of adhesive. I think she mentions what that is in the interview. I don't recall. But like I said, she just peeled it back layer to layer until she got to the top layer. Because again, this thing was all warped right in through here in this kind of a big U shape. But the thing was, she didn't charge me any extra for the mold. She was like, I gave you a quote. I didn't know, I quoted based on all the work I thought I was going to have to do. And I'm not going to charge you any more for it. So she was very good to work with in that way. And at the end of the day, appreciative, right? Because there, a lot of times in the adhesives for mat boards and other types of things, it's sugar based. So you get that stuff wet, it's just going to go crazy. What was the cost? I don't mind saying it. It was $550. And for me, I didn't have to ship it. So, I think I could have used one of the, the select individuals that are out there that we all are familiar with, right? Maybe they would have been a little less. but mailing a piece of art that's that size probably would have cost me another $250 to send it back and forth. So I think I probably would have paid more sending it out than working with somebody who was local. So yeah, no, thank you, Rick. Definitely was it's the right thing to do, right? I mean, back to us being, we're stewards of the art now. We're carrying it around. We got to take care of it, because if not, I thought it was a fair price. She was really, well, I'm going to show you the little video clip. So she wasn't used to being interviewed like that. So she was fine, but I thought she was kind of shy. Her husband was sitting in the background. I didn't really check to see how the cameras were set up, but it's still a fine, I'll give you like 8 to 10 minutes or whenever I feel it's so, long enough to have seen how things went. But again, she was a very nice lady and definitely knows her stuff, because I asked her, what else have you worked on? And she talked about, I mean, she's actually worked on comics. She's done some comic book restoration. She has done toy box restoration. She's done, I mean, she's fine art certified. I mean, she can basically go and work for any museum, in the world with her accreditation. But she's 20 minutes from me here in the middle of Podunk, Florida. She wouldn't let me go to her place. She takes security really, really strict, because she handles a lot of stuff. Apparently, she literally just did restoration work on like John Lennon's round glasses from Imagine. So she's talented across the board. She's worked on frames, so she's very familiar with doing wood restoration. And he just mailed it to me, and right, exactly, or just drop it off at the next gathering we have, and then you can pick it up the following year. But yeah, she did a phenomenal job, and I was very happy with it. But yeah, let me cue up this video, because this video is too long. It's not something I could load up into StreamYard, so I have to share it a little differently than normal. And again, it's totally unedited, so don't fault me. I tried to start it like a good interview would be done, but I think there's a few seconds here in the beginning of me just making sure the camera's right or something. But again, yes, Comic Art Live. Hi, thank you, 8 Grace. Okay, so Black Viper says Gordon Chrisman did a page and a half for me for $800, right? I mean, so it's really kind of fun. But again, the neat thing, I'll just say this: I don't have the documents in front of me, but I will make it a part of the overall video when it's done. What happened was, when she picked up the art, she said, I didn't even pay her anything. So I guess it's a little weird. I knew her contact information. I gave her the art. She took it with her. She told me that within a week she would mail me a package that I would have to sign this contract with her, and I'd have to pay her half down. And so she was right. But about a week later, I got a package FedEx to me, and but it had like 8 pages, and the 8 pages documented everything that she felt she was going to do on the art, on the restoration work. So I had to initial every page and send her a check for the $275. And throughout the whole process, about once a week, I got a set of like a dozen photos of what she had done, where she was at in the process. And when she found the mold, maybe 2 weeks in, she's like, all right, I found this. I'm just going to go ahead and do it. I'm not going to charge you anything more for it, because, I quoted you this and whatnot. Yeah, right. Thanks, Marcus. You're a sweetheart. So when she came in on Friday, she had another agreement that I had to sign off on, that, everything's to my satisfaction, blah, 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 handed her the check and everything. But again, proper people in the restoration business will always document every step and make those images available to you. I know that that's not common in our hobby with Gordon or anybody. They're probably too busy, and it's just not something they do. But people who do proper restoration work are used to doing that. I'm sure there's insurance purposes involved in why they have to go through those jump through those hoops and everything. But Alexandra was definitely that person. So let me see here. Let me get this video in here. And but I told her I got to take her out to dinner sometime, because she's very, very funny and very very matter of fact in all of the conversations I've had with her. So here, let me. Okay, so let's see. I'll just get myself out of here.
Both look good.
Yeah, see, I'm not wearing a flower though. So hey, as many of you know, I received a piece of art in the mail about 2 months ago, and it arrived from the UK, and it had a great big bend on it. And I was a little distraught But when I opened the yard, I was at least happy to see that the bend wasn't right through the middle of the yard, as you know. But there was considerable damage to it. And so I decided to call a local conservator, Alexandra Von Hawk. And I'm happy to have her with me today because the work to fix the artwork has been completed. And much to my surprise, there was a lot more wrong with this artwork than just the bend in it. I mean, there was water damage that already existed before the art was shipped. I knew that when I was buying it, but I was buying it with the knowledge that I was probably going to fix the water damage when I got it, and then we got a bend in it too. So I knew I had to take it somewhere. And there's several individuals in the hobby that we're very familiar with that do conservation work. But I wanted to work with somebody local, and those people are all on either coast, mostly on the West Coast. So I looked online and I found Alexandra, and I'm very happy that I did because she has definitely a pedigree when it comes to doing conservation work. So Alexandra, before we even open the package, can you tell me a bit about yourself and your work experience as it relates to doing conservation work and why you are qualified to do this work today?
Well, I've been doing this for a very long time. I started like 50 years of conservation because I was working as an apprentice. And then beyond an apprentice, I worked in another laboratory where it was just all learning all the time. I am strictly apprentice trained. But the master that trained me also opened doors for me so that I could study with masters all over the world. So I learned paper conservation with Japanese. I learned a lot of Russian techniques because the people that at one of my labs was Hermitage. From the Hermitage, several generations beyond, the times that we understand, like Second World War, where they were the ones that were closing the windows, living in the Hermitage, trying to save the art, the snow blowing in the windows, eating sturgeon glue to stay alive. They've had hundreds of years of documentation so that I could follow traditional conservation.
Mm-hmm.
I also am a member of the American Institute of Conservation. This is very important. And I am a professional associate. That means you have to go through additional training through them. You have to do a lot of testing. You have to show them the work that you've done. You have to show them the research that you're involved in. And then they award you a professional associate. And in that case, they allow their organization, which is out of the Smithsonian, to list you as one of their acceptable conservators. This is hugely important because we are very rare. And if you don't get to one of us, you're going to get ruined art. I got to say it. It's absolutely going to be ruined. The hallmark in conservation, the dance of the conservation, is that it's reversible. Now, I mean, you scrub it with sandpaper to get it off. I mean, it's removed easily because our work is always good for 100 years. And in 100 years, there's going to be another really smart conservator, may need to do some adjustment. Mm-hmm. And they'll know that my repairs could easily be taken away if they need to do something on top of that. You need to take care of the art.
And when you do repairs, you include a lot of documentation for all the steps that you've done to conserve it. So that's something that can be presented to the next person.
Correct.
Yep.
And you're proud of what you do. You don't hide anything. You very, a lot of, I'm the one that they call, the museums will call screaming their heads off because they let somebody else do the conservation work. And then it comes to me and I got to put it back together and then do conservation after they've been put back together. And it's, believe me, I work Katrina. I'd rather work on a painting that's been floating in the river than work on a piece that some knucklehead's gotten a hold of and, use Duco cement on everything. I don't know why they did that, but it's Duco cement. I don't think they make it anymore.
That's terrible. But so don't most museums have some kind of conservation departments in them where they have an expert that would do this for them? Or
well, the large ones do, like Smithsonian. But even large museums like, Boston Museum of Fine Arts, everybody's losing their funding. You can't have a conservator on staff all the time because you can't hire them.
Mm-hmm.
So we're considered outside services. We're also known as hired guns. Hired guns is not cool like paladin. Hired gun means you're on your own, and if you mess up, everybody backs away with their hands in the air and says, okay, you handle the lawyers because we're out of it. It's very, very hard profession. And because these museums are losing money all the time, they actually have to wait on funding in order even to get me in. They want me to do the work. I mean, I've got some waiting now, and then they have to go and do the funding through the federal government and all these different grants to get the money so that they can bring me back in to do the job. I've got jobs waiting for me all the time. Can't go ahead with them.
Until they get the funding, but even when they do get the funding, it's still on you. You have to, if you were to mess it up, it's not like their insurance policy is going to cover you screwing
There is no
something up.
safety for conservators. There is no safety net anywhere.
So you don't take a job that you don't feel you can work on it too. I mean, at the end of the day,
True.
if you know it's beyond repair or it's too risky, you know when to walk away.
I never walk away.
You
I'm
know,
the line in the sand.
yeah,
Where would it go?
true. Now you've told me that you don't only work on art. You've done work on a few comic books in your day. You were talking about John Lennon's glasses. So you have skills beyond just paper conservation.
Yes, European conservators, and I was trained by masters from the Hermitage initially. There's no arrogance. I mean, in America, a lot of painting conservators are all really arrogant, and they get on Nova. And you see them with the little tiny, Q-tips.
That's what I'm used to
painting
seeing.
and all that
Right.
stuff. The minute the cameras are gone, man, they get out the swabs. Or the Sistine Chapel, they actually use mops on the Sistine Chapel after all the lights are gone.
Uh-huh.
Nobody there does this. So what you did was you were a craftsman. I still am very proud to be a craftsman. It's a whole different headset. No arrogance. You get in there, you get your job done, you move on. But the job could be, the first job I had was a Corot watercolor, removing the backing off a Corot watercolor. The next was a Fabergé egg. You never knew what was going to be on your desk.
Mm-hmm.
And you learned to fix whatever was there. So we did paper, we did objects, we did wood. Because we learned to gild frames, repair frames. That's wood. So
Right.
if you can do that, and you can work on African pieces that are carved wood. So all the materials are interrelated. So if I learned to do a Corot, I can do a comic book,
Mhm.
which is harder, by the way. Got to take all the staples out and sand them so they don't have any rust on them, and then stick them all back in again. Because you guys got real tight rating about how good everything is.
That's
And I got to
very
work
true.
within those ratings. So I understand comic book people. I understand. I mean, I've had to fix G.I. Joe boxes, the original, the big ones, when G.I. Joe was big. So I've had to do that. So whatever comes across my table, if you can find me, I'll do the work. So the trick is finding me.
Right. Well, so I've learned.
And when you do these kind of things, you learn to work out all your problems that you have. Every piece is different. So by learning your materials, your adhesives, the papers, they always eventually show up again.
Right. I mean, that was part of your process with this piece, was kind of the exploratory part where you had to see everything that was wrong with it before you even did anything to correct the obvious problems.
Mhm.
You really had to delve into what may or may not have been wrong with it. And of course, when I brought this piece to you, I was concerned with the water damage that was, maybe in a 4x4 area at the bottom of the board, and also a crease that ran the entire length of the art. But when you got the piece onto your work table, what were the things that you found that were wrong, not only in the areas that were obvious to me, but what did you see after you had a chance to look at it?
Well, first I saw the beauty of the piece. We all have to appreciate what we have in front of us. An original piece of wonderful art that's got to be saved. There's just no two ways about it. No matter how terrible it is, we got to save it. And when I see water, it's like the worst thing that can happen to paper, because these are layered, these boards are layers and layers and layers of thin paper.
Mm-hmm.
And they're glued together. Glues are food. They've got sugars, they're proteins, they're what's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, their sugars are used for food. So when you have water, you're going to get molds. Molds grow in the Arctic Circle and Venezuela. Okay, they grow everywhere. So that was my main concern. And there's a little bit bleeding of pigments from the water soluble aspect. I don't really care about that. Some things you just live with. But I had to find out about the molds. So when I started, usually I can slice off the entire backing, peel it all off, and start going after the mold layer by layer. I couldn't do it in this case because of all the information on the back. Plus, the board was stamped with information, and artists fingerprint their art. That's how you know they're authentic, by the fingerprints, because artists always use the same materials over and over and over again. The same kind of board, same kind of pigments, same kind of Scotch tape. They don't like loose ends. So the more that they can use materials that they know how to use, same brushes, then that's how you fingerprint an authentic piece of art. So I have to keep everything intact. The backing board, all of the artist's information on the back of the board. So I had to split the board. I did it along the crease because I knew I had to repair that anyway. And then I opened it up and just repaired every layer of paper that was there, because there was a lot of mold in there. There was pink mold. There was black mold. That scared me. Black mold is terribly scary. And green mold. So I don't need to plate them out because I'm dealing with a collector that we really don't need to go that far. I recognize it. I just get rid of it.
And when you say you saw 3 different kinds of mold in there, and the surface area was only about 4x4. I mean, how far into the actual mat board it went that far into it? Just because you can get through the layers of the mat board.
I was working on living colonies of mold. This is some guys that lived for a while and they decided to go and didn't. There was nothing anymore for them to eat. Right. It was active because there was a lot of sugars in there. And they would have kept going if I didn't kill them, because you might not feel the water. If anything is crockled, you're giving it oxygen. Once they start, man, it is bad. The black mold is really bad. That's a health hazard.
Right.
So you got to wear a mask.
And you wore a mask, right?
Oh hell yeah! Hell yeah! Stuff gets in your lungs. Yeesh.
There we are. Hell yeah. That's what I said. Hell yeah. Yeah, we'll cut it there. But you can see I had a good conversation with her, and we opened up the art literally right after that. And then she kind of dove in and pointed out a lot of the stuff. How do you kill the mold? I think she actually at some point says what chemical or what she used. I'd have to go back and look. That's a question that's come up very recently. But yeah, she basically said she had to peel back all the layers of the mat board and take care of the mold kind of layer by layer. So yeah, I'll have the full video. I mean, give me, so now that I'm doing that, I was hoping I'd have time on Sunday, but now that I have to go into MegaCon on Sunday to do the Adam Kubert panel, I can't promise that I'll have it done by Sunday, but I'll try. I'll definitely try. And again, it was good. I mean, we did I've done one other interview with an art restorer, but I'd love to talk to Gordon Chrisman or anybody else who might like to discuss art resto. I think that's important. And, I think when this thing's done, I'll file it away as a CAFU episode, because it should be. It gives us a little bit of insight into to that area of the business. So it's not like a mystery to most people, and what the damage to my artwork is not good, was not like the normal stuff that I think most people are going to deal with on a pen and ink illustration, but because you just don't have to deal with the mat board in that way. And I'm sure a crease that's through a much thinner piece of material doesn't have the same problems that something, that's a 1/8 of an inch thick. So anyway, just laminate it. That was the answer back in the day, wasn't it, Ian? Just laminate it and you hide all the blemishes. Because even with this one, I mean, it's like I say, she did a pretty good job. But in looking at it, it's like at the end of the day, I really need to frame it, because then you won't see like the little imperfections that really are still there. But at least she's preserved it for the next 100 years by getting rid of the molds. I mean, who knows where that would have been if I'd waited much longer after that. So, and it could be bleach. You never know. I have no idea. But I've got to go back and listen to the video. I think she actually said something related to either the adhesive or what she used to kill the mold when we were looking at the art. How much to get rid of Anthony's chip grease? Yeah, I don't know, Kelly. I don't even want to guess what that might cost. I mean, it's probably a very priceless procedure. Pucker scars. You're never going to let me live that down, are you, Marcus? All right. Well, hey, before I get started with the calf update, what did I get? I got a photograph from Ted Latner where he was showing off where he was putting his Thor hammer trophy from the best of 2022. And of course, how appropriate, sitting right. And I can't, who was, I can't even see my own screen to see who the artist was. I remember him telling me, and now I can't see it. What the heck? It's Harrison. I don't know. What's the first name? Anybody know who the artist's first name is? Harrison. It's a cool piece of art. But yeah, so there you have it. The trophy in front of another wonderful piece of art. See, I'm going to have to look it up myself, but somebody will hit me up with the first name for Harrison. At any rate, I've asked several people to send me some more stuff, but I haven't gotten, is it Lou Harrison? Is that right, Dave? See, now that's just going to make me go look, because I don't know. Let's see, Ted. What did Ted tell me? Where is this? Lou, you win the no prize tonight. Dave, yep, Lou Harrison. Yeah, very nice piece. And lots of bricks, real bricks. You can't get any better than that. So, Mankini Thor, very close, very, very close to a Mankini Thor, but not quite, Marcus. All right. So thank you, Ted, for showing that one off. I mean, did I ask Tom Fish? I did ask Tom Fish if he would send me one, and he didn't even get back to me. See, that's why I can't get that guy on the show to even do an interview. He just does not reply. He's too busy for what we got going on around here. Well, what am I going to do? I can only keep emailing him and seeing if he's up for it. So that's pretty much, I think that covers all of my check boxes for tonight, right? I got my flip in, I got that done, I got that done. Well, you know what I haven't done? I haven't done the heritage stuff, and I haven't done the EXP preview. So I'll go quickly through those because I know I'm running a little long tonight. Let's see, get the heritage one up first. I'll go through these rather fast. Where are you? Oh, there you are. Okay. I know I showed a Bernie Wrightson last week, but I mean, I can't get enough Bernie Wrightson, and this one's pretty dang awesome. Look at that. Oh, come on, zoom in. Why isn't it going? There we go. That's better. So what do they labeled this as? I guess it's Swamp Thing, right? I mean, it says Swamp Thing, but it's not quite Swamp Thing. At any rate, it's an undated painting by Wrightson, something that could go into the painting category in April if you were the one to win this piece. But again, I love Wrightson stuff. Still have not owned anything by Wrightson, but this is a nice one. I wouldn't mind adding this to my collection if I could. There was a pen and ink piece in the last heritage one, right? Will you advertise your con to artists at MegaCon? I don't know, Stanley. I guess I haven't thought it through that much. I don't have business cards, so yeah. And how can I advertise something if I don't know the date? That's going to be a big problem. But Rick Welch says definitely Swamp Thing. Yes, definitely Swamp Thing. Okay, I'll go along with that. Let's see. I'm missing some of the conversation on here. But anyways, what do we got here? We got Wrightson Swamp Thing. Then I figured I'd throw this one in there since I'm going to be hanging out with Adam Kubert on Sunday now. Look at this. It's a Wolverine 85 page. And you got Adam Kubert pencils and Mark Farmer inks on this one. Love this page. James, I think this you would get James' seal of approval. Man, the stamp of approval. you name it. Wax seal of approval even, right? So but yeah, very nice images there. You got Wolverine all over this one. Is that like the phalanx or whatever? I didn't even know. I wasn't reading X-Men back in that period. But look at Cyclops looks the best on this page right there, brother. Look at that. He's given his Macho Man, Randy Savage. If he had a Slim Jim in his hand, he'd be total bad. You know what? So, anyways, look out, Logan. I am aiming high. Okay. Anyway, Bazap. Is that as good as his eye lasers can do as a Bazap? Come on. Whoever came up with that, they could have worked a little bit harder for Psych on that one. Anyway, nice Adam Kubert piece, of course. Then I picked a John Byrne, Jim Mooney Spider-Man page because I like Mooney inks on John Byrne, and it's Peter Parker stuff in the first two rows there, but you get Spidey donning his costume in the last panel. So nice piece here. I liked it, and that's why it's made it to my list. Cyclops never looks good. Oh man, what am I gonna do, guys? What am I gonna do? Those were tentacles too, Alberto. You are you got the sharp eyes there tonight. And James loves his 90s Kubert Wolverine. All right, so back to my picks here. What was the fourth pick? All right, this was an Excalibur page, everybody. Full on Nightcrawler all over this one. Paul Neary inks, and of course Alan Davis pencils. But look at that. Looks like Nightcrawler's waking up after a bender of some kind. But what do we got there? Love that one. I love this panel right here. And it looks like he's getting taken out. Somebody's taking him out. But anyways, Nightcrawler, Excalibur, issue 16. And it's like he's laying on a giant sandwich or something. Anyway, I like it. I don't think I got up to issue 16 in my reading of Excalibur, though, Jason. I hate to tell you that. But I did read the trade paperback that Tatiana sent me. Great art here, though. Absolutely great art. Then I've got this Jay Lee. Again, I'm sticking with the X-Men a little bit here. This is from Annual 16. And, what do we got? We got Bishop. You got Professor X. Is that Magneto looks like it? And you got Colossus and Storm. And where's Cyclops in this thing? No Cyclops at all? That doesn't make any sense. But anyway, I really actually like the just the layout on the page. Get that nice 1/3. What's the third splash? Third panel splash, whatever. Then you get the three inset panels right there, and then you get the classic 90s scribbly, scratchy panel layout there at the bottom. I love it. Absolutely perfect. And you got list two inkers, Jan Harps and Joe Rubenstein, as potential inkers on this page. But nice page. Early Jay Lee, at least, is working on any X-Men stuff. Tim Guerrero's monitoring the Jay Lee. Absolutely. Cyclops is in the basement playing Warcraft. All right. And a nice Archangel. Absolutely. That last panel, man. Everything else on the first panel was awesome. The last panel, just all in silhouette. I love that one. So, yep. Man, you guys are so harsh on Cyclops. All right. Moving right along. What do I got next here? Hey, DC. I had to get something in here. Mike Grell, Superboy 207 page from 1975. Let's click on this thing. Now, what do I know about DC? Next to nothing. Colossal Boy? I don't even know who that is. Chameleon Boy? I don't get it. But anyways, the art, fantastic. It's Mike Grell from 75. So what do we got? 48 years old, everybody. But, as much as I like the art in the first four panels, look at that. That is funky, and it's weird, and it's gorgeous all at one time. And let's see, it was made out to for Joe Sarno. Joe Sarno. Why do I know that name? Bestest for future Chicago cons. But at any rate, I like this one. The inking's gorgeous on it. I'm assuming it's all Grell, right? But yeah, you got some mushrooms in there. I saw Marcus was throwing mushrooms around earlier in the chat. So maybe he's psychic in some way. I don't know. But I love this piece. I think it's awesome. I wouldn't mind owning this page. So there you go. Grell hit a stride on that series. Great image. Todd Shepard. Don't you, Todd? Definitely. But yeah, no, I liked it too. It stood out, out of a lot of the other pages. There's actually a fair amount of nice artwork in this weekly auction. Then a Bob Hall variant cover to Moon Knight 6 from 2016. It's Moon Knight, man. I mean, and this is really well done. I mean, when I think of Bob Hall, I don't think of crisp, execution quite like this, but this is pretty damn nice. I mean, look at he's throwing his his crescent thingy out there. So, but again, lovely piece by Bob Hall. I mean, I like this one a lot. I mean, it stood out as a thumbnail when I was thumbing through stuff earlier, and it's worthy of one of my picks. And let's see, we got 3 more pieces here. This one, it's Paul Gulacy and Terry Austin, and I mentioned Terry earlier too. I mean, Terry just made everybody look great, and it's funny. I mean, he's and I don't even know, do I own anything with Terry Austin inks? I don't think I do. That's a shame if that's true. But this is Batman versus Predator, like the second time they got together. But I just thought it was, I thought it was kind of funny. I love it. Just the way this thing is drawn. You got Batman strewn up. Is that like a beheaded thing, a guy? I don't know. But at any rate, nice page. Paul Gulacy, Terry Austin, great combo. Even if Batman is not looking like he's going to come out of this one too good. I'm sure he did all right. And 2 more pieces here. Mark Bagley, Al Williamson. Now, I never read New Warriors at all, but I really like this page. I mean, with all the rounded corners, is this whole thing a flashback? I have no idea. But just as the flow of this page and the different camera angles as you go through it, I really thought it was done really, really well for a gunfight. And look at that last piece at the end there. That's that slicked knife wound, I guess. But you got Al Williamson inks on this one too with Mark Bagley. So really, really nice page. And again, don't know, never read New Warriors, but this is it's a great page. And what is it? What year is it from? Gosh, I want to check now. How early in Bagley's career is this? 1990. Okay. Last but not least, just look at the page like this. You look at the blacks against the whites, the contrast here from panel to panel. It's a dynamic page without really knowing what's going on it. Just by, you can squint at it. It's like, shoot, this thing is cool. I mean, there's, you can tell from looking at it, they're not really worrying about any midtones, right? It's black and white and not a lot of cross hatching. It's so I was intrigued just from the composition when I saw it like this. And so this is Keith Given, and it's from Superman, the Man of Steel 15. Again, not something that I read, but going in and looking at it, this page is gorgeous. I mean, look at this. It's just amazing. I think Chris Norick would give this 2 thumbs up if he was here right now. I mean, it's great. It's fantastic. I mean, I'm looking at it now. I want to own it. It's really good. And it's an end page too. So, I like this one a lot. And it's Giffen, for crying out loud. Come on, everybody. I love Giffen's work. But yeah, the inking, the way they chose to render this page out, it really is amazing. And there's that red, remember all the red lines? Where's the editor's notes that are talking about doing weird stuff on this page? We don't get that. Please remove red lines. See, you knew there was something going to be in there. Anyway, I like that one a lot, and that is my 10 picks from Heritage. So yeah, Chris Snork gives a 100 out of 100. That is good. No Excalibur, no New Warriors. What were you reading in the 90s? I wasn't reading anything in the 90s, Colin. Remember, that's the problem. I stopped reading comics my second year in art school, which would have been 1989. And I didn't read another comic until after I got married, about a year after I got married. So in late 96 or 97 is when I got back into it, because I just didn't have the money. I was restoring my VW van. I was sleeping in it in Maine for a whole winter. I was one of those guys, Colin. So I was missing out on the comics in the early 90s, but it is what it is. I was too cool. No, I was definitely not too cool. Anyway, so before we get on to the recap, my God, it's 2 hours already. We got to roll this thing fast, but we won't. We'll take time with the art. But you know what time it is? It's time for the EXP preview. Every Friday night from 7 to 8:15, you will catch Nick Barucci doing the EXP. He's talking art, he's selling art. Sometimes he has a special guest. Hopefully Amy's around there to keep him in line. You know him and you love him and you love the art that he brings and the stories that he has to tell. So you can catch him on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitch. Heck, there's probably something out there that I don't know that he's streaming to as well. But he's out there. He's everywhere. And I've got his preview for you tonight. So this is going to be the preview for Nick's show tomorrow. And it will be at 7 p.m. Here we go.
Everybody, this Friday, March 31st, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, only on the Original Art Experience. We are going to have some really, really, really fantastic art, like we usually do. So it's going to be a great mix. So at one point, I'd hinted somewhere that we would be doing a bunch of Jay Lee art. And because we started bringing the Perez art and for Carol Flynn, we didn't bring as much. We got some this week, but I'm jumping all over the place. I'm driving Amy crazy. She's already shaking her head. So let me get right into it. All right. We are going to have Gunslinger Spawn by Brett Booth and Alonso Corona. We're going to have Justice Society of America by Dale Eaglesham and Rodney Ramos. We're going to have Amazing Spider-Man by John Romita Jr. and Scott Hanna. We are going to have a little bit of Ron Garney. I don't know why I separated this Ron Garney from the other Ron Garney, but we'll have Ron Garney Ghost Rider. We will also have this Wildcats by Jay Lee. We'll have this Red Sonja cover by Jay Lee. We will have Jim Starlin, Thanos vs. Hulk. Check it out, 2 pages. We will have this John Romita Jr. Avengers page. We will have, this is the other Ron Garney, little bit of Wolverine 64 back in the past, World War II. We will have Wolverine 63 with Mystique, gorgeous, pure Ron Garney pencils on both. We will also have Moon Knight 28 by Ron Garney, inked by Tom Palmer, and we'll have commission cover art, Flash 123 homage. We've got Invaders number 5 cover homage with Submariner fighting Captain America. We'll have this Loki versus Doctor Strange. Check it out. A little bit of Steve Ditko influenced John Byrne there. And we will have this Scarlet Witch commission cover art. So, this Friday, March 31st, 7 p.m. Eastern on the Original Art Experience. Hit that thumbs up and share. Sharing is caring. See you Friday at 7.
Indeed. Sharing is caring. Man, I just got a lead for Alexandra. Thank you to the person who texted me. So I've sent at least an inquiry over her way. So anybody that wants her contact information, I put it in the, I don't know if I put it in the chat, but it's vonhawklabs.com. If you reach out to her, tell her that you heard about her from me. And it doesn't give me anything other than the satisfaction of letting her know that I'm spreading the good word about her restoration work, and that's good. I mean, I like helping out people who helped me, and they do good work. We need another resource. We need lots of resources in this hobby. You figure, the further we go along, the older the artwork's going to get. Having 2 or 3 or 4 potential people, or heck, if we could have 5, 6, 7, or 8 people to turn to, get quotes from. I mean, that's always going to be a good thing. So the more restoration people we have in the business, the better. So, all right, let's keep this thing rolling. You're very welcome, Nick, of course. All right, now I can get into my CAF update here. I think I've got everything queued up and ready to go. This is going to cover the week of March 20th through the 26th. Is that right? Yeah, that is absolutely right. All right, dealers. Dealers were about the same, $281,000 to $318,000. So, about average. Anthony, I'm not sure why, but Anthony had $159,000 in sales. How did that happen? 218 sales too. Boy, he must. Oh, is that from Comic Art Con? I guess maybe must be some, sales that rolled over into that week. I guess so. Anthony was the big winner. Ramita Man second, 15 sales, $41,000. Tatiana, 43 sales, $32,000. Good, very good week for Tatiana. And Albert Moy with 14 sales and $20,000 and some change. Those were the only ones over $10,000 in sales that I track. Of those, the top 6 sales from dealers last week. Let me go and highlight that. We have a piece by Mike Mignola. This one was sold by Mike Berkey. asking price on it was, drum roll, $20,000. This is the Hellboy Library Edition cover from 2013. We're actually going to see that in the picks later on. I did not realize it was also in the top sales, but this one I know was an Anthony pick. I think he had this on Dueling Dealers about a year ago. He sold this one for $20,000 last week. Artwork by John Buscema, Claus Janson, covered at Tarzan 17 from 1978. Then we've got this Avengers 80. This is the Red Wolf Origin, and Anthony got 18,000. At least that's what he is recording it as. $18,000 on it. John Buscema, Tom Palmer inks. Then we've got Black Panther #2, page 31. Another piece I know we've seen from Anthony on Dueling Dealers. This one sold for $16,500. Jack Kirby, Mike Royer on it. And what we got two more here. Superman's Girlfriend, Lois Lane, a complete 4-page story. This one sold by Anthony. $9,500. Art Saf and Vince Coletta inks from 1973. And finally, another one we saw on Dueling Dealers. Everything's not selling on Dueling Dealers, but he's selling it after the fact. Captain America 289, page 13 from 1983. Mike Zeck, John Beatty, $9,500. So yeah, I get that animated while I'm going through my pitch here. So, anyway, that was what is up with that? I think every one of those pieces that he had on there, that Anthony had, he's offered on our show, right? Yeah, every one of them. Tarzan, Avengers, Kirby, well, maybe not the complete story one, so maybe not that one, but the other ones he did. All right, is what it is. Trades, most likely trades, everything, but to keep things as they do, that's why I always say it's a reported sale. At the end of the day, that's what it was priced at when he marked it as sold on his site. Everything that's in my dealer inventory on CAF gets removed from CAF when they mark it as sold. So I only know what the price was when it was offered. It doesn't matter to me if they sold it for cash, if they traded it for other art or anything, because we don't know that, and that's private knowledge anyway. So we can only tell you what it was priced at when it was marked sold from their site. So but yeah, it's a lot of art. Some good stuff there. Anyway, all right, moving. Do I get my cut? I get no cut from sales on the sites, guys. Unfortunately, I do not. Not at this time. But you never know. Maybe somewhere down in the in the future. But not today. And I'm sure that's the way everybody likes it, and that's okay with me because that's the way it's always been. If I'm actively engaged in helping them sell something, then that might be different. So auction results. Now, auction results are a little stacked this week. Probably most people didn't know this was going on. Hell, I didn't know it was going on. I should even go and actually figure out exactly what this specialty auction was. I know Colin's here because it was just labeled specialty auction. It was the Jeff Ferrari, I don't even, FERREIRA collection featuring Christopher Rush Collectibles Trading Card Games signature. And as you can, that's Wizards of the Coast art, everybody. So stuff from trading cards, Magic the Gathering, I would assume for all of it. Rush, of course, did that Black Lotus, which is the one that's the most famous, expensive, most desirable piece of art in all of Magic the Gathering. And Tatiana could correct me if I'm wrong about that. But they had that sale going on, and Heritage had 33 sales from that one auction, totaling $106,000. So and one piece was $42,500. So the total sales for the week for auction houses was $476,000. But again, 106 was from that one specialty auction, which I'm not going to show anything from. That's compared to last week, which was 361. So it actually puts them about in the same eBay plus Heritage Weekly sort of thing. Magic the Gathering mostly. Okay, yeah, I didn't look through it all, Colin. I'll have to check it out because I'm kind of curious about that. I feel like I didn't get any PR from that auction at all. I just get the Colin knows about it because I import Heritage. They send me text files with all their stuff to import from past sales. And so Colin is more likely to see something like that than I am because I don't think they promoted that with a single email. I don't remember it. But all right, here we go. Top 6 sales, 3 from eBay and 3 from Heritage last week. So first up, we have a Charles Schultz 1982 Peanuts Daily. This one was at auction, not a buy it now, sold for $15,000. I think it had just two bids on it. Maybe started at 14, ended at 15, something along those lines. eBay made up 189,000 of the sales too, by the way. Next up is a Hellboy piece. This one was listed at $7,500. Was won with a make offer, $7,000. So somebody saved $500 off that piece. Mike Mignola, of course, it's just listed as a Hellboy illustration. Don't know if it was printed. Should have been at that price. Then we have a E.C. Sager Popeye Daily from 1937. This one at auction for $6,090. All right, over to Heritage. The first piece, Sal Buscema, Vince Coletta, Defenders 26 page, sold for $10,200. I don't know why I didn't pick this one as one of my featured pieces last week. It's pretty nice. How did I miss it? Milton Caniff, I skipped those, so I don't feature them at all because there is so many of them. This is Terry and the Pirates Daily from 1940, sold for $7,800. And finally, I don't think I featured this one either, but Don Heck, Dave Cockrum, Avengers 108 page. This one sold for $6,600. That's a pretty good page. You get a lot of heroes on that. I like that one. That's pretty good. So yeah. And how do I manage to miss all three of those and not feature them? I don't know. I guess I was probably trying to avoid home runs that week. But anyway, is what it is. So you know what time it is. It's time. We should have we need to come up with some fight music when I bring Chris Snork in, like Rocky something or other, we got to have something like that. Exactly. Chris Snork, he's flexing his muscles. We got to come up with an intro for you, Chris. I don't know how we've been doing this for so long, and I never thought of that before.
I'm just a fixture, Bill.
Well, we got to spice it up a little bit more theatrics and stuff. I'm in a good mood. I don't know why.
That's awesome. You want to hear a funny story about that Hellboy piece?
Tell me. Wait. Now we're talking about the one that had the $500 off?
That just sold, yeah.
Okay.
I sold a black and white print of that piece for $1,000.
What?
The original went for $7,000.
How did you sell it for $1,000? What's so special about the print?
It was really early. It's actually one of the first, prelim, like one of the very first published images of Hellboy. Once it got rolling, but it was just a very, small run on that print.
Oh, 94. Okay. See, I didn't really look at it that closely. Mm-hmm. Well, okay. Then I guess that has some precedent then and why it sold for so much. Well, I apologize to.
I would have paid that for it. I had no idea that original was up, or I would have bought it. To be honest.
Wow.
I missed it. I'm heartbroken.
Well, so often because that was from the same seller. We always see the big discounts on the Mike Mignola stuff. I mean, it's same blue background. They lays it on. Typically, they're like at 50% off. So when I saw that, I was like, "That's weird." 7,500 down to 7,000. All right. Well, hey, I stand corrected. Jordan says that we should play the theme to Jaws for Chris's intro.
I think I'd rather have like Indiana Jones or something, maybe, if we're in the John Williams realm.
There you go. All right. We're going to come up with something, Chris. You're going to, not we. I'm going to come up with something. You're just going to be surprised the next time you're on. I'm going to do it. Yes, exactly. But yeah, so I've had a good week. I have no idea. I feel like I must be either overtired or something. Maybe I'm on some medications that I don't know about today, but I'm actually in a pretty good mood at this point in the show.
Maureen's putting something in your food.
That is true. She did make. I had pierogies tonight. I don't know what she might have slipped into the pierogi.
Perfect vessel.
There's something definitely wrong. Maybe she put it in the Coke. I've had 2 Cokes tonight. I know she's watching this tonight too.
You're from Ohio if you're eating pierogies.
What was it? It was potatoes and cheese.
There you go.
Perfect. And black mold poisoning, says Rick Welch.
You're snorting black mold.
Oh man, I really don't know what's up with me tonight. Because I've got to get to bed. I've got to get I've got a full day at MegaCon tomorrow.
Well, let's fire it up then.
Yeah, let's get this thing started here. Where is I've got too many. I had a lot of tabs open with the Hake stuff and Heritage. Gotta find. Oh, here's yours. There we go. But how was the week? Pretty good for you?
Yeah, no complaints. No complaints.
I figured out. When you sent me that the email where you with the screen grab, right? I was like, Oh, well, there it is. But
It's
you know,
not
so it's cool.
intuitive, but it's also not. It's not tough either.
No, no. I mean, but okay. So it's cool. But the thing is, it won't be cool until I'm actually getting out and drinking beers and logging my drinking activity. I was like
Lots of
looking at you and I'm
beers,
like,
homeboy.
man, Chris is getting out all the time.
Oh no, I'm drinking at home.
Okay, you're drinking it. So you're picking them up and bringing them home. Ah, so you don't. So it doesn't. You didn't. Okay, because I didn't see that it was flagged to a venue. It's just more flagged to this is what
You
I
can set
picked
your
up.
home as a venue. You could even create your, your outdoor bar as a bar.
And people won't show up.
No promises.
That's right. Keep your gate locked.
Mhm.
Yeah, but that's cool. I get to see everything that you've been drinking. Or maybe that's not cool. I don't know. I won't.
Maybe not cool for me or my physician.
Yes, exactly. All right. Well, let's talk about some art here. Let me get these pieces queued up here. Share the screen. And yeah, here's your tab. All right. And I thought this was a really good week. Honestly, there was so many cool pieces I could have picked. And it was weird. I definitely overlooked some pieces this time around because of who the owner was. Because I'm like, oh, that guy, he's always getting good stuff, or maybe I've shown a similar piece from them in the past, and that happened like 3 or 4 times where I was just like, no, I'm gonna skip it. Yeah. So there was a whole lot, and even beyond that, I mean, I think there was just so much art that could have been picked. We could have had 4 people here right now, and we would have 40 great pieces of art to talk about. So let's see, Simon Moss Calf Gallery, a Brian Bolland Red Hood. It's gorgeous.
The reason I really picked this was because when I saw it, I was like, oh, cool. And then like I did this little dance in my mind where I was like, can you imagine having commissioned Brian Bolland at a convention back then, and like what that experience must have been like? And I mean, to get, to have him hand this to you, it was just mind-boggling to me to try and like put myself in the shoes of the lucky commissioner for this. It's gorgeous. It's clearly Bolland, which I also love. But it was just such a cool thing for me to see. You don't see a lot of this.
Yeah, let's look at his shoes again, just for Mikhail. Look at that. Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, because we've seen a few Bolland convention sketches that are out there. I mean, there were some that were done around like 2008, somewhere around in that period where when he was in New York Comic Con or something. So you don't see a lot out there.
Well, this is much older.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. This is much older, and it's so well done. I didn't read the description on it, but I saw it too. I would have picked this one in a heartbeat if you hadn't gotten it. And you even picked mine, didn't you? I mean, I picked it only happens a few times, but that's when you get greedy and you're like, oh, I'm taking Bill's pick. And that's all right. But this is from 87. And well, look, there is a lengthy description here. So anybody who wants to get the whole scoop on this one, I'm not going to read it for you, but yeah, that's.
I didn't either.
Oh, what is this?
Marcus said it was actually an auction at a show, so kind of a commission.
Oh,
on spec.
Well, yeah, boy, Brian looks so young. So wow, that's pretty cool. All right.
Mustache.
Never, yeah. If you would have told me that was Brian Bolland, I wouldn't have believed it. So I'm glad that it was here because I don't think I've ever seen I don't remember seeing any photos of him when he was young. What do we got here now? We've got a Detective Comics piece, and in a collection of Ken Carter, Victor Bogdanovich.
I don't recall if we featured Bogdanovich or not, but I really like his stuff. Clearly, like a Capullo influence, I think, which is certainly nothing shabby. I love the inking on this piece. I love how like crazy scratchy, like all the different ink, techniques that are being applied. The Cthulhu kind of like whatever is going on with Batman, whether he's possessed or whatever that is awesome. So cool design there too.
Everybody's yelling at you. Digital art.
Oh, is it digital?
Did you do it? Oh my God, it is. Now you know why you haven't picked anything by Victor.
Signing out.
Oh, go have another beer and come back. That's a party foul. Let's get digital.
He does traditional work. Bogdanovich has done traditional work. So I apologize, boys. I was fooled.
Man. Well, it's gonna happen. It's who knows if I have digital art in mine, then we'll be even. But well,
doubt it.
it's still a great piece of art. It's just digital.
So for every 1,000 pieces that I look through.
Yes. Well, as long as it's not AI and digital, when
Yeah.
it comes up as being that, then that's when you have to hang up your hat for like a week and go back to art picking college or something. But
Old APC, yeah, my alma mater.
it is just like Mikhail said, it's an amazing image. I mean, it
Anyway,
really is
yeah,
well done.
it's really cool.
But yeah, it is.
And is it really like overproduced to the point? It's not like a Jorge Jimenez where it's like, look at all these effects. I mean, there's a lot of like very quote unquote traditional inking technique applied here.
Yeah, no, I would say that. I mean, because I was looking at it and I was
In my
Ian
defense.
Miller, who does a lot of pen and ink, crazy illustration with Cthulhu creature stuff. I was seeing that. I mean, there's definitely some interesting techniques in there, but it is what it is.
Okay,
but I still put I'm not taking my approval away from
it's
that one.
perfectly legitimate. It's
Yep.
not an original, but
Congrats
it's
to
a
Ken
legitimate
Carter.
technique.
Now here we have this. Well, it's in Brian Norton's calf gallery. Now, this is a slugfest happening out there in the media, in the hype world today. The Rock is getting a lot of grief, but from those Shazam fans and stuff. So
Really?
yeah,
Oh.
don't you read Entertainment Weekly? Okay,
No.
that's all right. Okay, well, let's talk about this piece of art. Now it's in Brian's calf gallery. Like I know it's Schaffenberger and Coletta.
I absolutely love a good Superman Captain Marvel throwdown, which is the main reason why I picked this. But the second reason I picked this is because I have a feeling, judging from Mr. Redjack's comments, that he is in the same camp I am in, which means he believes that Shazam would whoop the tar out of Superman. So that is why I picked this piece.
Well, I like the piece a lot as well. I mean, from a historical standpoint, but I don't know who would win in a fight because I don't know who technically would be stronger. But a great page. I mean, Schaffenberger. I mean, you can't go wrong, and at all.
It's beautiful. I mean, like the layout of the two, like throwing down, I think is so well done. It's so clearly like from the period, which I love. Yeah, it's just a great page, just a great panel page.
I love it. Panel 2, he socks him. Superman's got a big grin on his face,
Mm-hmm.
and then goes back
And
the
then
other
the same
way.
thing happens
Same
in
thing,
panel
yeah,
3.
exactly. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, you're not hurting me, and they're all shaking. Look, they're holy moly. So yeah, they don't know how this thing is going to end.
See, the comments get it. Tim Guerrero, Shazam is magic and Superman is weak to magic, so Shazam wins.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, okay. All right. Who would win in a fight between Faker and Swan? I don't know, Rick. And Mr. Redjack says, of course he would. Great minds think of. Yep, there you go. All right. Well, hey, but I know I like this page too. I had it set aside when I saw it because I just thought it was a pretty unique piece. I hadn't. You don't see pieces like this on CAF too often, but great pickup, of course, Mr. Redjack. Congrats on that one. And I hope this one's not digital.
Not you too, Bill.
Tom Fowler, Beta Ray Bill. This is in Travis Elsor's CAF gallery. Travis, of course, we've had on the show before, and I just want to see, yes, it's commission. All right. But yeah, this thing is stunning, man. I love this.
There's so much energy in what Tom Fowler does, and like the way he puts these pieces together from a composition standpoint never ceases to impress me. I mean, look at the way like Bill's cape makes up two edges of the piece. It goes border to border, and the border is also like, kind of like wildly all over the place. But the fact that I think it's also so cool that the commissioner basically, if you read the description, just said Beta Ray Bill, and Fowler was like, you know what I think is cool? I'm going to put Power Pack in here, and they're going to be fighting the Snarks. Like, I just think that's got to be such a great commissioning experience.
Right.
You know, to say Beta Ray Bill and to get this back. It's insanely creative. There's so much energy in this piece, and it's so incredibly well illustrated. It's just like, I mean, stylistically, you know, technically, everything you could ever want in a piece from an artist, let alone Tom Fowler.
Yeah, and you got to look at it like this too, because the way the machinery, the ship or whatever they're on, that perspective is just that, because you don't need that, right? I mean, they could be battling it out on a planet or somebody's backyard, but you throw that in there and it just makes. I mean, yeah, he went all out on this piece. I would have fell over if somebody handed me this, and you know, because you're going into it with a Beta Ray Bill commission with backgrounds, and you know, you get something like this. Wow, that's impressive. That's very impressive. Huh. Wow. I like that a lot. Congrats to Travis on that one. Travis picks up a lot of commissions and stuff, of course. Now we're Matt D's Calf Gallery and a piece by Alvaro Martinez, Sword of Azrael, number 5 cover.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Alvaro Martinez Bueno. I love the you know, the grit that's on this cover. I like the, you know, the level of I guess I would say realism that he applies. I think is really cool. It lends kind of a different type of character to, you know, the you know, comic book level of realism, so to speak. But the textures that he has going on here, the way that he like laid the whole thing out, I think is really beautiful. You know, the number of characters that are on this that all read perfectly, and yet like they all take a very cool kind of characterful position in the composition too. Everybody kind of gets to do their own thing here, whether it's Lady Shiva or, you know, Batwoman or Azrael there in the middle. I just think it's so effective in so many different ways.
Yeah, I agree, and I like the fact that you're getting a lot of midtones just from the tight inking that he's doing there, the scratchy inking. I mean, it's it's a very nicely executed piece of art. I even like the fact that, you know, the characters in the background are done at different sizes, and it works. You know, it's not like he's trying to render them in perspective properly. You know, whether it's just the mug shots across the top,
kind of montagey.
Yeah, I like that. I really do. It's different from your standard movie postery kind of approach to a cover. I like it. Yeah, really well done. Congrats, Matt D on that one. And then let's see, Kelsey S. And we've got a Venom. This is a variant cover. I guess so. Yep.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever I don't think either of us has ever talked about Francesco Mana before, but I've said this before, I know, but I'm not a Venom fan, but I do really love how Venom allows artists to express themselves. Just the nature of his powers and kind of like his, you know, sort of crazy extreme look lets artists, like, you know, kind of do what they want with the character, plus or minus. But this one for me is really about kind of these layered tones, sort of the different techniques that he applied to the piece. Like, you know, so obviously there's some zip, there's traditional inking, you know, there's some splatter here. The way that the background is dropped out to lend some weight to the figure. I just think this overall, from a technical standpoint, I mean, it would have been easier, not to like open up the door again, but it would have been easier, I'm sure, for Francesco to do this digitally. But the fact that it's done traditionally using zip and things like that, I think is really cool.
Yeah, no, it really is nice. I mean, I like the, because the zip is kind of defining those tendrils or whatnot going out. You know, I like how he's done that. And then even just carrying it in over here to bring you back to the character. I mean, it's nicely done. I mean, you're right. I mean, and that's something just experimental, right? I mean, we're still seeing, I think we're all trying to get a little bit used to commissions with zip on them. But this one was, you know, very thoughtful in his approach to it. And yeah, I really like this a lot. I wouldn't mind. I'd like to see this one in person too, because you know, I've seen a few zip pieces where it's like, it just feels like it's an add-on. This one was, it really feels like it was meant to be done this way.
Integrated. Yeah. I've seen ones where, you know, it takes you out of it a little bit too. It takes it away. Like it almost makes it not an illustration. It almost makes it like a graphic design.
Right.
You know, and this definitely doesn't have that.
No, very nice. Very, very nice piece. So congrats, Kelsey S, on that one. And what do we got here? No, it's in Dwayne Dush or Douche. I don't know. Dush. Member since 2007. And this one is a Johnny Quest double wraparound cover, I guess. Mark Wheatley and Mark Hempel.
Yeah. So a very cool combo of, you know, artist and inker here, Wheatley and Hempel. I, you know, through ignorance or, you know, lack of exposure or whatever, didn't ever associate them with Johnny Quest. So I don't know if they had a, you know, long and epic run on the character or not, but I absolutely loved the way the blacks are spotted on this cover, or double cover, I should say. But, you know, even down to, so, you know, Race has this like flap on his shirt, the way that that's like stark white, and then the rest of the figure is rendered mostly in black. And the way that that highlights the kind of like advancing like enemy figures there on the front. Just like really, really well thought out and like perfectly executed from a design standpoint for a double cover.
Yeah, no, I do. I like it as well. Never was a big Johnny Quest fan, but you know, I mean, it was good. And hey, Marcus is continuing to rib you in the chat. I don't know if you've seen that.
It's fine. I've earned it.
But yeah, I like this image a lot as well. And Dwayne, I'm gonna have to check out. I mean, it's funny. It's like certain people who's had, you know, calf galleries for so long, and I can't say when the last time might have been that I was in Dwayne's calf gallery. So I'm just gonna steal that one away and put it over there, and I'm gonna check it out after the show. So wow, this is a nice one. Matt DiTullio picked this beauty up from Mike McCone, and I know that Matt is a huge Black Bolt fan, so I'm sure when he saw this, he was like, "Oh, I gotta get it." And yeah, this. I mean, McCone's. I love his art drops whenever Tatiana does them. I mean, I haven't bought anything from them, but I go and look at every piece because he really does such a great job on all of those. I mean, in this piece, you know, I love Black Bolt, but the way the colors in the background just kind of pop him out even more. I mean, it's just amazing.
Yeah, I'm a huge Black Bolt fan too. Love the character, love his look. I mean, what an incredibly iconic costume design, you know, to the point where like rock stars have copied it for their stage outfits. I mean, this is everything you can ask for in a costume design, but like you hit the nail on the head already. The star of this piece is that background. It's just amazing. I love the color choices. I love the execution. You know, if you want to call the bubbles Kirby Crackle, I think you could get away with it, but it's like reversed out Kirby Crackle.
Well, it's funny too, because I'm looking at it and I'm like, did he use Frisket to get it so
right?
Perfect? I mean, that I don't know what he did. He had to have, right?
Right, because it would bleed otherwise.
Right. I mean, it's yeah. So just, I mean, I didn't even think about that until I'm looking at these circles and realizing how well they're done. So either he definitely didn't paint them after the fact. So yeah, I mean, just however he executed it, everything about it just screams, it's amazing. So wow, no, it's beautiful. Congrats, Matt. Matt's at MegaCon. I'm gonna see him tomorrow. He's helping Simone sell artwork and have fun at the show. So I'm going to hang out with both of them a little bit tomorrow. Can't wait to see them. It was not Bleach. No, Bleach did not do that. You know, I mean, I know one trick with watercolors I know is like, you know, when you're putting down the watercolor, you know, if you throw salt on it, you know, it spreads it out and pushes it away. So people do that. But I mean, obviously
you'd see the diffuse.
You would, yeah, exactly. So no, this is Mike McCone just doing Mike McCone. All right, what do we got here? Claus V's Calf Gallery. And it's the one that you stole from me.
Sorry, buddy. I didn't actually. I put this up and I saw the show thumbnail so closely afterwards. I was like, "Oh wow, Bill was really on the ball." I honestly didn't. I didn't steal it from you on purpose.
That's all right.
I saw this piece on Instagram because I follow the owner on Instagram, and what a cool story. So, the owner actually bought a variant cover for one of Dan's books, and Dan reached out to him and said, "Hey, if you ever want to sell that," and the guy obviously very cleverly said, "What about a trade?" So yeah, I got this Daredevil commission in a trade for another piece of OA, which I think is what a great story to have tied into owning this piece. So as far as the piece itself, I mean, we can go on ad nauseum about like Daniel Warren Johnson's compositions, but for me, it's the awning on the building that Daredevil is standing on that for some reason just like blows my mind every time I look at it, because it's like a series of really cool, really well executed illustration tricks that are all like stuck in one graphic element on this piece.
And yes, Daniel Warren Johnson. I saw Tim ask that, but just to me, I mean, I love Daniel's stuff, but this one just screamed, excellence. I mean, everything from the perspective to, I love the fact that he tries to minimize the characters that he's working on.
Yeah,
so
I don't even care that Daredevil's on this.
Right. I mean, and he, he does that a lot, and this one just works so well. I mean, he's such a small figure in the overall piece. I didn't check to see what the size of the piece was, but it just doesn't matter. For me, I wouldn't say it's that what you see. I mean, it was just the overall impact of the piece when I saw it. It just blew me away. So, but even better story, because I had no idea. I just figured maybe this was one of those more expensive commissions or something that he's done through Felix's site. But yeah, no, see, it's. I got to get me a Daniel one. Do you have a Daniel Warren Johnson?
I do. I have one. I have a commission that I got through Felix a few years ago during the pandemic.
Awesome. Well, what is Batman's shadow doing behind him? It's not Batman. It's got there are little horns. They're hooked a little bit there.
Yeah, they're not ears, Marcus.
Let's see. Somebody. Okay, I'm gonna read it. Does it mention the size?
It does, and it's a lot
9 by
smaller
12.
than you. Yeah.
But still, doesn't he usually do almost like half that in some of his commissions, or like
I know, but even at that size, look what's here.
Right. I know he's packed a lot into it. Absolutely. Well, congrats to to Claus for picking that up and making a trade happen. That's wonderful. They can fix it digitally, says Marcus.
God, Marcus.
Oh man, and then,
please.
Yeah, you're not gonna rest until next week.
I'm not getting paid, Marcus.
Jonathan Wayshak. I mean, he's pretty uber talented and crazy, in his styles. It's a Metallica gig poser. I don't even know poster. Oh, I was gonna say, what's a poser? It's a poster. He's got to fix that in the art description. So there is the published piece, and back to the art. Yeah, that is just cool. Now, Jonathan, let's see. Wait a minute. Who's Jonathan Wayshak? Man, this is just. Let me look at this. This is just gorgeous. How could you? I mean, I didn't see this one until you picked it. I don't know how I missed it.
I just love how insane this is. I mean, it was cool to be able to pick a gig poster. Like, I think that was a great, the fact that it's on CAF is awesome. I'm a Metallica fan, or at least I once was. So that was awesome too. But just like, yeah, Tentacle Grail for sure, Rick. But just like the insane stuff that's going on this is just worth highlighting. It's worth talking about.
Enter the Tentacle Man. Boy, we've got the chat's on fire tonight. So no, this is awesome. Absolutely. I mean, crazy awesome. Yeah, I loved it. So no, that was a very good piece to wrap things up with, I think, for you.
Thank you.
Let's see. We'll switch over to mine. So grade 10 picks as always, of course. He was at WonderCon this past weekend. Oh,
Great 9 picks. Great 9 picks.
was it 9?
Well,
Oh,
9
okay.
traditional, 1 digital.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll strike that from the record books there. Let me remove that and switch our set here. Where are you? Here it goes. Grade 9 picks. Somebody's gonna make you a T-shirt with something about your nine picks,
Probably.
or at least
It'll be
something-
like monoprint fan or something on it.
exactly. Monoprintfans.com.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Norick, owner.
Founder.
Yeah, that's gonna be my second site that I
Uh-huh.
build. All right, here, let's go here. Unfortunately, Mikhail had to leave. He didn't get to see his piece. I'm sorry, Mikhail. I should have started off if I would have known he was going
He's
to have to go.
posted so many incredible pieces of artwork lately.
Yeah, he has, and I know I said I had to skip over some people, but this one I didn't want to because I love Colleen Durant's stuff, and this one, really get over to the art, just it's
So
a tapestry. You know what I mean? I mean, it's stunning, the amount of detail and just. I should click on the artwork so you can look at it even better.
And it's not noodling either.
No,
I mean, it's all with intention.
yeah, and it's really complex. I mean, at the when you look at it, yeah, I mean, I thought about skipping it because it was Mikhail. I'm like, all right, I pick a lot of Mikhail's artwork.
Right.
I'm going to find a reason to not pick this one, but I had to pick it. Team got Anthony slippers on, but I digress. I mean, everything about it. It was funny when I saw the thumbnail. I thought of P. Craig Russell initially, just because of the overall feel for it. And of course,
Subject matter too. Yeah.
Yeah, subject matter definitely. But so I was actually kind of pleased when it was Colleen because I love her stuff, and once I looked at the detail, I could tell it's all her, and just a fantastic piece. So congrats to Mikhail on that one. Kaleidoscope of Beauty. That's a good way to put it, Rick. Oh, and a colored version.
Oh yeah, I'm curious.
Not bad. Not bad, but yep, we love the black and white.
Not what I envisioned, I'll be honest.
No. Next, I know this is in Tyler T's Calf Gallery, and it's a Mike Allred and Laura Allred piece. And this, of course, is all Mike's stuff here, but I'm a big Twin Peaks fan, so just to see Mike Allred, his take on the character, I mean, and a lot of the characters in there, I mean, it's just fun. I mean, you can tell, I'm sure he enjoyed working on it. I look at this, it's like it's a commission, but it should be published somehow. If a Twin Peaks comic were ever to make its way out there, this would be or Mike should be the one to draw the cover at least. So yeah. Sorry, I'm reading through the chat, but then as many people know, Laura will a lot of times color Mike's work when you get a commission from him, and so there was a colored version of it as well. And I kind of I mean I think the way this is colored, the kind of flatter tones actually suits it really well. So I like it. I like both of these pieces.
It gives it that kind of like Italian movie poster vibe.
Yeah, definitely. Very fitting. So yeah, I thought this was great. I didn't really read the description on it. I know Tyler was kind of linking over to gotsuperpowers.com if people also want to commission Mike for something. So if you follow his links, you can do that too. Fold that with your tongue and restore it. Boy, oh boy, sharp wits tonight in art. Let's see. Chuck says Tyler has an outstanding commission collection and great taste in art. Absolutely, Tyler's the man.
Yep.
Yep. Love this piece. So congrats. And again, it's Twin Peaks. I mean, I don't think. I bet you if I searched on Twin Peaks on CAF, there wouldn't be a whole lot of art. So I very much appreciate this.
No, and like bravo for like either unwittingly or like, well, I'm sure not unwittingly, but like sort of surreptitiously commissioning Mike Allred to draw David Bowie.
Exactly. Yeah. Nope. Good choice. Great piece here, Tyler. This one I just picked this one because I've got a spot in my heart for this version of Ms. Marvel.
Yeah,
but,
that costume is great.
It was. I mean, Dan Burton had that piece, same costume last weekend. I mean, it's just it is what it is. And I just like this. I thought this was a great title page. Love, the way they've kind of just shown the front of the car. I mean, everything about this piece is just really awesome. So Sal Buscema pencils with Frank Giacoya inks. I mean, again, what's not to like? I'd love to own this.
No, there's a ton of power and like I mean, they really went all out on the detail on the mangled car. I mean, that could have been, especially with Giacoya on inks, like there could have been a lot like less done there, but they really went all out, which I think is awesome.
Agreed. So nice pickup. I saw that Neber Adlin. Is that like reversed out or something? It's who knows? But nice pickup there. How long has this person been on CAF? See, it's another one. 14 years, and I'm like, I don't know who this person is. All right, I'm dragging that one to the other screen. I'll look at that one later. So Christopher Mahler on this one. This is a painted piece, and you'll see this isn't my only painted piece this week. So I must have been channeling what next month's theme is going to be. And I don't even know what this was from. The Clans Warriors of
Battletech.
Oh, Battletech. Okay, I see. Last. No description on this piece. It's in Steve N's CAF gallery. Who won something? What was his best of 2022 piece? Okay, well, anyway, fantastic painting. I just love it. I mean, I love, Mahler's done a lot of gaming artwork, if I'm not mistaken, right? And I don't know if is it Mahler? Am I pronouncing it wrong?
No, that's how I would say it.
Okay. So yeah, I just thought this was awesome. Everybody knows I love anything in the fantasy science fiction genre, and again, with so many artists in this area really switching to digital, you see more people in science fiction fantasy switching to digital versus traditional stuff. It's always just nice to see pieces like this. I don't know what year it was done, but I love it, and I just had to pick it. 99. There you go. 1999. Steven has some killer painted pieces. His Mina Frazetta painting won a CAF award. That's what it was. The Mina piece. Yeah, that was 2021. All right. Yeah, that was gorgeous piece. So +1 to Chuck. All right. So there you go. That's my first painted piece. Let's see. Is it this next one? No, I can't remember now. Oh no, I've actually got 3 painted pieces. Okay, so you got Robert McGinnis, 1969. There will never be enough McGinnis art on CAF, and I just had to pick this because it's such a rare thing to have. And anybody who's a painter, a modern painter, will always reference back to McGinnis as being somebody who's had a huge influence on their careers. There's no way Jusko talks about McGinnis and Kevich talks about McGinnis. I mean, at the end of the day, McGinnis was ahead of his time when you're looking at book covers. I'm assuming this probably was some kind of a book cover. Yeah, cover art to The Coffin Bird by Carter Brown. Just fantastic stuff. I mean, this is kind of post. It's in the era after Gil Evren and those types of pinup artists, and he just made I love this thing. I want to own this piece of art. It's gorgeous.
It's
beautiful. Whose CAF gallery is this in? Johnny C. Whew. Anyway, what do you have to say about this piece?
Well, I love the palette. I mean, I think that the red hair and the green is such a a natural like fit for one another. But the fine detail here, like to be able to put this together with the tools that he had in 1969, the traditional tools he had in 1969. The level of execution here is just like unparalleled. And like this is a weird comment, but the bracelet that's on her forearm does such a cool like little, I don't know, like a flash, or like it breaks up that area of the painting. It's the color, and it's also like the fact that it's basically just like a little bar from a graphic standpoint. I think that is such a cool little element in this piece, and everything else is so, I guess, fine painterly. Like it varies between fine and painterly and like a high level of realism, like her face and her hair. There's just that one little like kind of odd graphic element that I think just adds a cool little like, I don't know, dash to this.
I agree. It's funny because I try to picture it without the bracelet slid down there to her elbow, and
It just wouldn't be.
it would not have the same impact. It's kind of
Yeah.
funny. You take it out, and yeah, it's not as powerful a piece, and that's weird. It's in part. I mean, the colors are so striking there because you don't see those colors in really anything else. On
Right,
the
they're not
painting.
echoed anywhere else.
No, that's weird. I mean, I can't imagine what he was thinking, but
It's like
whatever it was, it worked.
Yeah, have you ever heard the term a fascinator?
No, I have not.
It's like a fascinator. It's like a teeny little like seemingly inconsequential element that like you like keep going back to.
Interesting. That's funny. I mean, yeah. Did he include the published cover? I'm curious if they did anything weird like. No, so he didn't include that. I thought maybe like something with the lettering or you know what I mean? Like they might have done something with that. But okay, but this is a great piece, and we do not have enough McGinnis art.
Incredible. Yeah. There isn't enough.
There is not. There isn't enough. Now, Alberto Gonzalez, over to here. Look at this. I know Alberto was very happy when he picked up this Tales of Suspense 58 page from 1964. And so I kind of featured it for that. I mean, Alberto, we know, picks up a lot of great artwork. But, sometimes there's pieces that you get to add to your calf gallery that probably just knock your socks off more than just the general things that you love to pick up.
They sing.
This thing is, I mean, it's just awesome. I absolutely love it. I love this, the 2/3 panel here. And then I love these next two. I mean, with, well, Chameleon, what's your answer? My answer is, bah. I mean, but anyways, it's great historic piece, early Tales of Suspense. What was it again? 58 from 1964. I mean, gosh, that is, it's just awesome. I absolutely love
important.
it. What's that?
And important.
Absolutely. So Alberto, let's see, Heckin' Airs. I was just trying to read through some stuff there, but yeah, I agree. Something like that, it's gonna make your year as a collector, and I'd like to think this piece will end up in his best of, right?
And is it Hack?
It was Heckin' Airs. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, two of the, say what you will about, Kirby and Ditko and like whatever, but like Ayers and Hack are like, I mean, they're right up there if you want to put your pantheon together.
Right. Like Alberto just said, Don Heck is so underrated.
Yeah, 100%.
It's true. Yeah. Oh, look, and Troy said Don Heck, one of the Marvel godfathers. That is so very true. And Nick Ferrucci, yeah, I agree. Alberto's, I could have picked I think there was another piece of Alberto's that I was looking at, but this was the one I went with. But you're absolutely right. There was a lot of great pieces posted to CAF by Alberto this week. Yeah, so congrats. I mean, that's a wonderful piece of history right there. And so here you go. I picked a piece by Raul Vitale. So I'm very, I've tried to bring in some artists that maybe a lot of you haven't heard of before, but Raul is, I mean, I bet, does it say the size on this? Okay, 20 by 27. So it's pretty big. I actually was thinking it might be larger than that. I think this is from a Shannara book cover, but Raul is an incredible artist. If you've not ever seen his work before or heard his name, I would highly recommend going over to the CAF update and clicking over and then doing a search on Raul's stuff, because he's amazing and he's a super, super nice guy. He exhibits at IX. He actually he exhibited there a lot in the early IX shows, and I can't remember when it might have been like 2016 was the last time I saw him, but his stuff is unbelievable in person. The level of detail.
Oil?
What's that?
Is this oil?
Yeah, it should be oil. Let me see. Yeah, he's got it listed as well. So it's unbelievable in person. His stuff is just rocks. I mean, I guess I can click on it, right? But yeah, because this just doesn't do it detail. Yeah, I mean, it's good, but I can promise you that like the crispness of the bark, you're gonna see it all. I mean, he's an amazing artist.
His textures are wild.
And it's funny. I bet you there's no art book out there by Raul either, but he's a very prolific painter, and just amazing. So I didn't even what do we got here? Who's Ryan M? Of course it's in Ryan's CAF gallery. Ryan's got a good eye and he's got good taste. There you go.
Well, this
That tree.
this is where I learned, Bill. Like these illustrators are definitely what you bring to the party.
I try. Next up, now this is in Anker's Calf Gallery, and and there was a lot of good X-Men art posted this last week, right? There really was, and that's why I could have went all over the place, but I thought, I haven't featured something by Anker in a while. This Garcia piece with RT Bear inks from X-Men 77. I just love the fact that it's I didn't read the book, but like they're falling and fighting, and this is just I had to sit there and examine it. Who is Wolverine?
I looked at this
actually,
for a long time.
yeah, I had to, and I'm like, I'm trying to figure out which characters is Wolverine engaged with in this fight? Who's Psylocke fighting? And then it kept me looking around, and maybe if it was in color, it would have made a lot more sense. But it made me look at it for so long that I was like, this is the one I'm picking out of all the other really cool X-Men pieces that I saw this past week. Let's see, I can click in now since we've gotten to see it, but the detail's so nice. I always liked RT Bear's inking. He really was. He was sharp, crisp. Everything about his inking style during this period was fantastic. And yeah, this is it's impressive.
It's funny, the way you describe it like makes me want to look at it more, because if I'm being honest, like I said, I looked at this for a good long time, and under the auspices of picking it, because the thumbnail jumps out at you for sure, like when you're paging through. And the more I looked at it, the more I was like, is this legible? Like, what am I looking at?
I know.
And then like trying to like pick it apart, I was like, I really like it, but if I'm having to like pour over it this much, like I'm not sure, you know what I mean?
I understand, and that was the thing that finally intrigued me enough to pick it. But I get what you're saying, and because it's like when I'm looking at Psylocke here, and I had to do a double take just now, because I'm thinking it's almost like this is her arm, but it's not. This is her arm on his face,
right?
And this is her other arm.
Leg, and yeah.
I mean, but I don't. And again, maybe it makes a little bit more sense in color. Does it have a color piece? No. But again, I liked it for the reasons that you questioned it. But I questioned it like that at first too. I really did. But it still won me over at the end of the day.
It's really cool, and that's not meant as a critique. It just like that was my thought process.
Well, understood. And always valid, right? Absolutely valid. Next up, P. Craig. Well, see, I talk about P. Craig Russell. I did pick a piece by him. Hela and Garm, New Mutants Commission. So this is an Andre. Is it Andre? Yeah, just Andre with a period. I just thought this thing was great. I mean, I love P. Craig Russell's art. I mean, look at the way he does the fur on the. It's just amazing. And then Hela, absolutely stunning. I mean, I would kill for this piece. It's just that fantastic.
I love how positive negative it is.
Yeah.
Normally with P. Craig Russell, it's more fine, it's more frittery, it's more, like filigree.
Yeah.
But here it's more graphic, especially Hela. I mean, she's basically like shapes,
Right. I almost want her to be more, even harder to kind of pull out of there, because I feel like I keep thinking she should be almost more in silhouette, and I don't even, there's something about it, but I mean, he pushed it really far already, and probably just felt like, I've pushed it enough. And but I really, really like this piece a lot. I mean, I assume, was it a commission? Let's see. Yeah, commission.
Yeah.
So 11 by 17. But yeah, I love this piece.
I had this in my cart, so to speak, and then was like, no, I picked P. Craig Russell too much. So
I know,
really
I do too.
You picked it.
Antoine says very Mignola-esque in its graphicness. Yeah, I'd give it that.
Well,
Definitely.
I mean, there's influence back and forth with those two guys for sure.
Yeah, well, Rich Danny's mentioned it too. Yep. See, boy, everybody's thinking. Yeah, the chat is on point tonight. Thank you, everybody.
Well, I think it's a great observation, because even the elements, right? Like we associate Mignola with like this architecture, with the wolf, with the horns, with the, you know, like the Nordic characters, like all that kind of stuff. So yeah, this bears a lot of Mignola presence.
Yeah, you know, that's interesting now that I think about it. I didn't really catch that initially because a lot of times Hela, her headdress is more like a Galactus headdress, very even, very crisp lines. But he's drawn it as almost a set of deer horns and
like antlers.
Symmetry, yeah, antlers, but they're you know, the symmetry's there, but they're not the same. And that definitely screams Mignola. But you're also right. I mean, the architecture thrown in, I mean, that's P. Craig Russell architecture.
Sure.
That's about the amount of architecture that you would expect to see in a Hellboy illustration from Mignola. So you're right.
Exactly.
They both reference back to each other in different ways. But yeah. But again, I love this piece. I love that melted wax kind of feel he gets in. Detail. It's amazing. Absolutely crazy great. So yeah, and well, I won't talk about Hela, but there was Brereton did a Hela piece that he had shown me before the show, and it ended up he actually showed it to somebody else who ended up buying it. But I was going to buy one piece from him. When I saw that, I was like, oh, I'm going to own the Hela. And I even told him that. I said, I think I'm gonna have to buy that from you before the show starts. I have never asked anybody that before. And he's like, okay, it's yours. And then he emails me the next day. It's like, oh, I showed it to somebody, Bill, and they want it. And I'm like, all right, just give it. You'll do something else for me one day. So yeah. So here we're back to this piece. I picked this piece before I knew it was in the market data. Actually, this is in Marco De Latto's calf gallery from Italy. And I just, you know, speaking of Mignola, I mean, to kind of follow that one up, but I was actually looking at this piece and the P. Craig Russell side by side when I was trying to figure out whether I want to keep them both or which one I want to go with. And I just decided to keep this one because I really liked it because of just the ink wash. You know, a lot of times, you know, we do think of Mignola's work just as more stark blacks and whites and everything. I like the subtle qualities in this piece. And but yeah, again, I had no idea that it was going to be in the market data at the time that I had selected it. So yeah, I mean, I think this is no description on the size of the piece, but again, it's awesome. I think from the market data, it was 2013 library edition cover. So sweet piece. I love that.
Yeah, and I think the painterly stuff that you talked about, it makes this special. I mean, you know, it's not what we normally associate with him, like certainly for Hellboy. I mean, he's, you know, he does work in this way in other stories, other, you know, subjects. But to have Hellboy, you know, kind of depicted in the standard Hellboy way, and to have the other stuff that's going on here in this other technique, I think makes this piece really unique.
Definitely. And yeah, we are at the 3-hour mark. I'm sorry, everybody. Usually we don't like to go this late, but we only got one more piece to look at, and then we can call it a night. And I actually had like 5 or 6 pieces that I was looking at for my last pick, and I went with this piece in Jim D'Amico's calf gallery, this Cliff Chang Daredevil Elektra. I mean, I love Cliff's work, and you know, and there's lots of reasons why I do, but he's just a phenomenal designer. You know, this piece is, I mean, it's just lovely. I mean, I'd love to have this piece in my calf gallery. I love the buildings, but I really just love the way he's posed the figures on here. I mean, the composition is beautiful. I mean, everything about it. I think it's a flawless piece. I mean, was it commission or I didn't even read pen and ink illustration, original art, blah, 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 from 2008. So this is like when I first got turned on to Cliff stuff, was around that era.
Yep.
And yeah, so I'm assuming it's a commission, but yeah, I mean, look at that thing. It's fantastic. I mean,
I think what's cool about Cliff Chang's style is that it's so clean that you can't cheat. You know, if there's something wrong with this, and there are like little things that are like off about it, like the buildings in particular, but like I think one of the reasons that he's so renowned and so respected is because like you can't get away with anything when you do everything this clean.
Yeah. That's probably true. And you're right. I mean, I never really felt it before, but you're right. The perspective on some of the buildings looks a little weird. But you know what makes it?
It's like, yeah, it's like,
You know what's forgiving about it is it's like you can tell it's city lit type of thing, right? Because the
Right.
lighting
the
is
uplighting.
it's from the street level,
Mhm.
and it's just it's smart. It's, you know, when you look at it, I think that it helps it. It help, you know, maybe get so, you know, because you're right, the perspective just is not quite right with the buildings, but he puts the characters right in the middle where the biggest problem is, so you don't even notice it, and then bam, it's turns into something fantastic. So
Well, and in the last 15 years since he did this, he's only gotten more incredible. So
yeah. See, and Rich Danny's would know too. Yeah, he says he agrees the perspective is a little funky. 3-point upshot is tricky. Artistic license, says Mysteries of the Lucky too. Agreed. And yeah, and it works. It just works. And something like this, it's a commission. It was never meant to be published, colored, or whatever. So Cliff's going in knowing that he's got to sell it, and he delivers. I mean, it's just you can forgive anything that you might be able to nitpick out of it because it's gorgeous. So
it is absolutely.
Yeah. So Jim D'Amico, congrats on that pickup from Heroes Con. Look at that. Heroes
Hey,
Con
all right.
2008. All right. You're going to Heroes Con, right, Chris?
100%.
All right.
Flights are booked and hotels booked and tickets are bought, and I'm just waiting to hear what you and George have cooked up for Thursday night.
You know, I did get an email from George. I didn't get a chance to read it before the show, though. So I think he said, well, you know what? I read like the first sentence. I think he said that we are doing it at the Abari again. And I did read it. Oh, he said that that he agreed with me on the need to move, or everybody agreed with my thought that the music needs to be outside only. And so they said that they would do that. That if any of the bands that are playing, they will be outside. That I think they're going to have the same. They'll have food trucks out front, and they wanted to make sure that I wanted to be one of the guests, which of course I want to be one of the guests. So that they didn't even need to ask that. But I think that's good because I remember we were shouting inside, you know, as it got later and later. And it wasn't because we were drunk; it was because the music was so loud. So, but you know what? I'm going to go down and play some pinball now that there's not loud music down there, because I just wanted to avoid that whole area where the games were. It's just too loud. Let's see. So which hotel are you going, Rich Danny's? Are you going to be in at Heroes? That would be cool if you are.
I think it's the Westin, right?
I hate to say I haven't booked my room yet.
It's whatever hotel that Shelton recommends. It's right on the Heroes Con website.
Right. And it's very
there's
affordable.
a special rate and like all that stuff.
Yeah. But you know, that reminds me, I've got to get that booked. But I remember last year I booked it literally like a month beforehand, and I still got a room, which was weird. I better not risk it, you know, like I did last year. Oh, it's the Westin, says Chuck Arnold.
Thank you, Chuck.
Yep. Cool. Well, yeah. I'm looking forward to that show, of course. So, but I've got my big show tomorrow. So Chris, as always, lots of fun. Maybe I had too much fun today, and I know Marcus had too much fun at your expense. It happens.
I'm
all
so
been
used to it.
We've all been at at the mercy of Marcus's wit. Deservedly slow. Just sleep in your car, Bill. Well, actually, I think I'm actually driving up with Kazra, so I'd be sleeping in Kazra's car if that were the case. I think Kazra's bringing his girlfriend with him, so they're rooming together. So that's why I've just been negligent. I mean, I know I'm driving with him, but I have not because I'm not in charge of the trip. I haven't booked my room yet. So
you can throw out a cot in my room, Bill. It's fine.
How many people are in your room, man? It's going to be a party in Chris Norrick's room.
Just the one. I got to have room for beer.
All right. Well, I'm making a note here, so I don't forget to do that tomorrow. But Chris, as always, lots of fun. And Alberto, it was our pleasure, certainly, for being able to pick your artwork tonight. Deservedly so. We could have picked a couple, but we limit it to one person a night typically. So all right, Chris. Well, listen, man. As always, it's fun, and I guess next week's the first Thursday. I don't have anybody that. Did I have anybody offer? Wait, let me look at my calendar real quick before you go here, because I don't think. Okay. Typically, I note on my calendar with a CAF update.
I had a couple weeks off. I'm good if needed.
I do not. Yeah, I don't have anybody listed. So do you mind? I mean,
Okay.
maybe I'll see if I
No,
can't
not at
squeeze
all.
somebody else in later in the month. Well, because I got the 27th of April with Kevin Sharp for some reason. Usually, I don't know why that wasn't. Oh, that's not even a pick. That's I've actually got him on as a guest intro for
on the
some stuff.
update. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Anyway, cool. I'll see you next
No sweat.
Thursday.
All good.
All right. See you. Good night, Chris. All right, everybody. We're calling it a night. I am going to get myself to bed soon so I can be ready and raring to go for MegaCon tomorrow. Should be a lot of fun. If you're going to be there, please look for me. I'm going to be, well, somewhere, they don't really have like Artist Alley, but they've got that when you go down into the main show hall, typically to the left, there's a row of artists and they kind of sprinkle them in throughout all of there. I will probably be hanging out at the 4C booth a little bit. Adam Kubert's there. I'm sure I'm going to be hanging out and talking with him a bit. So you can't miss me, right? I will promise to wear a denim shirt of some kind. And outside of that, I can't promise what else I'll be wearing. But I'm sure you'll find me if you're there. And if you're going on Sunday, there's a 3:30 panel with Adam Kubert that I'll be doing with him. So it's going to be cool. I hope everybody has a wonderful evening. And I will be back on Saturday night at 9 o'clock doing a sale show with several folks from the Next Comic Art crew. All pieces done specifically for this event. So it'll be all new stuff that you haven't seen before. Should be a lot of fun. We always have a good conversation and hangout time with Jiggy and the crew. So hopefully I'll see you guys on Saturday night. And otherwise, have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next week. Adios.